What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Stokastic.com NBA Deeper Dive presented by Prize Picks. I'm Dave Loughran at Lofty_D on the Twitters, joined by Adam Scherer. Ship My Money, breaking down a 5-game slate tonight. An interesting one for sure. Might only be 5 games, but there's a lot to talk about in most of these. How you feeling, man?
Good. Yeah, this slate's weird. I just did a crunch before the show to kind of just see how things were showing up for me. And any slate that you're getting to a lot of Matisse Thybulle seems like it has a lot of ways it can go wrong.
He's showing at 32% right now at minimum salary, and we've seen.
I wish I only had 32%.
Are you getting more than that?
He's in like every. If the slate started right now, he'd be in like every lineup.
Oof. All right. Yeah. Well, earlier today, Josh Okogie was at like 40%. So ebbs and flows. We'll see what direction it takes us. A lot to get into, though. Yeah, like I was saying, only 5 games, but this is not just your generic run of the mill, fly through each game. Okay, simple, clear cut. Nope, not at all. So happy to have you guys with us. Already over 100 likes. I mean, beautiful stuff. Appreciate you guys for that. Almost 1,000 people in here already. We'll get to 500. No rush, but if you haven't done so yet, atone for your sins. Wash yourselves clean, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Only takes a second and helps us greatly. So yeah, you forgot. That's okay. We forgive you if you hit. And if you hate this show, hit that thumbs down, but make sure to do it twice. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. What a stupid holiday this is. It is. I don't know why
I agree.
Just Hallmark nonsense. Like, the worst thing you could ever do is buy a card, like a Hallmark card. Spend $9 on a Hallmark card that's getting thrown out in the day. No. Crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just miserable.
You might just be a miserable prick.
It's definitely possible. But stupid. It's stupid. Jacob said, boots and national once-a-year sex. That's a you problem, pal. But we're happy to have you guys with us. Look, I'm not hating. I'm not hating at all. I'm just saying. Plus, we're going to go out to dinner on Friday. Never go out to dinner on actual Valentine's Day. I refuse for them to give me the same menu, but shorter on a nicer piece of paper and charge me 2 times as much.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like you're doing me dirty, and I refuse to do that out of principle. But we can talk some basketball here. We got 5 games, already over 200 likes. Damn. All right. Good stuff. And Garth, no worries, man. I cleansed the soul. I cleared my mind yesterday. We're good to go. Appreciate the love, though, man. All right, let's get into it. 5 games. We'll kick it off with Orlando and Toronto. 221.5 total. Magic 7-point dogs here. So we actually just got news. Our projections haven't updated for this yet. I'm sure they will any minute now, but that Cole Anthony is out today. So he was questionable coming into this one. On the injury front for Orlando, though, it's really only Cole Anthony here that is going to make any difference whatsoever, just from like a who's in or who's out. And there's so many other teams, Boston, Golden State, those specifically, Portland with some injuries that are going to completely change how we look at this slate. So let's start it off, man. What are we doing with Cole Anthony out right now?
Yes, I mean, it does open up more minutes. And also we have Jonathan Isaac out today too, which obviously he's been irrelevant from a fantasy standpoint, but that's still 12 minutes or so that won't be in the lineup today. So it does solidify playing time for Markelle Fultz. You saw him play a ton yesterday, got up to just north of 35 minutes against Chicago. You only got 22 and a half minutes off the bench from Jalen Suggs yesterday, but there is certainly a path to him getting more minutes. You also got about 28 minutes from Gary Harris, which is to be expected with Anthony out. So it's likely that you're seeing mid-20s in minutes from Isaac. It's likely you're seeing low to mid-30s from Markelle Fultz, and that you're seeing around 28 minutes again tonight from Gary Harris. So it does have an impact here, and you are getting ownership coming into Orlando because they're pretty inexpensive as well. This has been a team that for a while we haven't really paid a lot of attention to outside of just random dart throws in tournaments, because they have been relatively healthy and the price tags were relatively expensive. But now the price tags are coming down. You're getting a $5,600 Markelle Fultz. That's a pretty appealing price tag even before Anthony was ruled out. Now he looks better. Wendell Carter Jr. at $5,700 fair price tag for him playing around 30 minutes and not as much opportunity cost at the center position tonight as say we had last night where, he's competing with Williams and Kessler and Capella and Joval and, so many other guys at the position. Tonight, not as deep a slate, so he's easier to get to. Jalen Suggs looks like a useful value piece now. I mentioned, Matisse Thybulle at the start of the show. Anytime Matisse Thybulle is the go-to value option, any other value that opens up is going to be well received and make you feel good because Jalen Suggs might have his flaws, but he's still not Matisse Thybulle. So, that's some more value that you can get to. Banchero and Franz Wagner rather, both are reasonably priced as well. They don't look quite as good to me as Fultz, Carter, and Suggs, but they're not far behind. It's just a really appealing team. Bol at 3,300 if you want to hope that he gets a few more minutes with Jonathan Isaac out. Certainly isn't the worst idea either.
We got a $5 super chat from Keith Dorman. My team won the Super Bowl, 6 a.m. Monday. I'm up grinding the NBA slate. So if Laffy could do that responsible gaming read, I might need that number. For you, no chance, dude. But I appreciate the super chat. My team won the Super Bowl. Just rub it in, pal. No read for you. But I might do it later in the show. We'll see. I might have to. Might be obligated to. Robert, with a super chat. Adam loves these questions. Just loves them. What's your pick coming out of the East and the West?
Phoenix and Boston.
Okay. Thought you were going to say that.
I would prefer it to be Memphis, or the Lakers, but I think it's Phoenix.
Okay. I think it's the Sixers only because they'll lose, just like every other Philly team has this year. But I actually don't think they make it out of the second round because that's par for the course. You think Phoenix, huh? With Durant moves the needle to the point where because that West isn't really as strong as it's been in previous years.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a lot of good teams there, but also they're all sort of flawed, including Phoenix. Like that's still not a very deep team at all. I don't remember if it was you and me or Josh and I that had talked about it, but yeah, obviously they look a lot better now with Kevin Durant, but you still have a currently injured Kevin Durant. You have a 40-year-old Chris Paul. You have an always injured Devin Booker. It's not hard to envision this team being banged up in the postseason as well. The Lakers, I think, are better than people are giving them credit for. If they get into the postseason, I wouldn't want to face them. The Nuggets are obviously really good. Memphis is really good. There's a lot of good teams, but there's not one team that I think truly stands out.
For sure. You want to talk about Toronto here?
Yeah. This one has a lot of moving parts still.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on Achua and Gary Trent. OG Anunoby remains out. But we saw, last game with Trent out, we saw Precious Achua and Jakob Poeltl in the starting lineup alongside Siakam. They went jumbo style in that game. Of course, you're playing against a bigger Pistons front court, but against Orlando today, you think we could see something similar if Trent sits? You think we'd see the same lineup?
Probably, just because Toronto hasn't really been super interested in matching up to other teams this year. They kind of just run whoever the next 6'8" guy is. And, if Trent is out and Achua is in, I assume we get the same starting lineup. If Trent's in and Achua is out, I assume we get the same starting lineup just with Trent in place of Achua. Where it really gets interesting and where I don't know for sure what they're going to do is if Trent and Achua are both in, because the last time that happened, they brought Poeltl off the bench, but who knows if now, that Poeltl's been there for a few games, if he is just going to start regardless and Achua goes back to the bench. I don't have an answer for that, but if one of Trent or Achua is out, I assume that we're getting the same starting lineup as last game. It's just that Achua piece will either be him or it'll be Trent.
All right. So let's for a second just assume that Gary Trent is sidelined. Well, actually, let me pose this to you first. If Gary Trent is in, are we just essentially going to be getting pieces of Siakam and Fred VanVleet and Barnes and Jakob Poeltl, or is there any priority that you have here?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just mixing and matching those guys. Looking at the crunch that I ran before the show, nothing from Toronto is really showing up for me a lot on DraftKings. I'm getting Scotty Barnes the most, but even that is just around 10%. And we don't have a lot of ownership coming into this team right now. Poeltl at 9%, Barnes at 11, Siakam at 12, VanVleet at 8. Price tags have just come up a bit, and it's not overly appealing. I mean, they're still a nice team to target in tournaments just because the playing time is going to be there, but they do have another rotation piece now, I assume, in Pirtle. Like, I assume that's just another body that is going to actually be a functional piece that could, cut into the Achua playing time that we were seeing, or, maybe brings the minutes back to earth a little bit for guys like Siakam as price tags are rising. So there's nothing that I really love getting to from Toronto right now. Things will look a little bit different if these guys are out. Like, if, Achua is out, then you can feel better about likely getting 26 to 28 minutes from Pirtle, for example.
Robert Super Chat, Denver to the finals, baby. Joker finals MVP, Denver versus Celtics. Maybe, but I think it'll come down to Jamal Murray.
I'd enjoy it. I don't have any money on Denver, so I don't care, but I do like Denver.
But like, if you get the Jamal Murray type run that he had, was that the bubble year?
Yeah.
If you get something even close to that alongside Jokic, this team looks really good. It's just a matter of whether or not in my opinion at least, do you get that Jamal Murray? Because Jokic is not.
They're an interesting team because, like, Murray can certainly step up, but like, so can Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. potentially. Like, any of those guys could just give you that playoff performance alongside Jokic, where it's like, oh, like, that guy stepped up and got it done.
Sure, but having Murray back at like full capacity is just huge. And who were they running at the point last year?
I don't remember. Monte Morris.
Monty and someone else too. Wasn't there some Facundo Campazzo running point for a while?
Maybe that could have been last year. It could have been.
It could have been 2 years ago. Yeah, you're right. I can't. It all just jumbles together at this point. But all right, if Gary Trent is out, do you see yourself getting to a lot of Pirtle? Because the center position always has, a lot of good options, even on these abbreviated slates. Like, do you get to Pirtle? Do you see yourself getting to Achua? What does it look like if Trent sits? Because I think the likelihood that Trent sits is higher than Precious Achua sitting, because Achua was questionable last game and played.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think Pirtle ends up looking like a true priority, just because you do have some cheap centers on this slate. I mentioned earlier that you don't, with Wendell Carter, that you don't have the same opportunity cost, but you have guys that are just less expensive than Pirtle. Kevon Looney's really cheap. Drew Eubanks is really cheap. And then you also, still have Wendell Carter Jr. You might have Robert Williams. You might have Al Horford. So I think it's still kind of difficult to truly prioritize Pirtle. But if he is starting, clearly he's going to look better than if he's coming off the bench.
Blitz, yes. I'm so glad that AJ Brown bodied Juju. Very happy for that. Adam really liked the Juju tweet. As you can imagine, I didn't.
Yeah, big fan of the Juju tweet.
Made me very happy that AJ Brown called him TikTok boy. And the fact that he can back it up with just being an all-around far superior player made me so happy. Had like 20,000 retweets in 30 minutes. Oh, I was happy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he lost.
I get that, but it was a great retort. I mean, it's a great quote tweet. The numbers don't lie, bro.
Yeah, but also, like, it's not like Juju was a non-factor in that game, and two, Juju has a ring and AJ Brown doesn't.
Yeah, he lost, sure, but he was awesome. Like, he had a great game. He didn't do anything.
He had a big player too.
Yeah, but Juju isn't the team. It's a Juju versus AJ Brown.
Yeah, sure, I get it, but like, also, you can't really say anything. Like,
well, he did. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Fidel said, "Damn, Laffy, just at least spell my name right, pal. Come on." All right, let's talk about Boston and Milwaukee here. Shout out to AJ Brown. No Jason Tatum, no Jaylen Brown, no Marcus Smart. Now Al Horford is questionable. Everyone just has swelling on this team. But Grant Williams is
We just got the Toronto news. Trent's out, Achua's in.
Okay, that's what I assumed would be the more likely case. So I'm glad we broke that down. They'll hit on more of that at Live Before Lock coming up after this. Those guys sticking around all the way till 8, from 6:30 to 8 o'clock for a 7 o'clock lock here. Who do we have today? Is it the normal? Is it Greg and Eric? Yes, it is. Greg Ehrenberg, Eric Lindquist coming up after this. But Boston just so much opening up here. It's not just that though, man. Like, of course, Derek White, even at his price point, and Malcolm Brogdon and Grant Williams in a great spot now. We could get to Sam Hauser. But if Al Horford ends up being out, or if Robert Williams ends up sitting, then this team goes from looking really good to looking like, okay, I need a handful of these guys in every single lineup.
Yeah, I think like spots like this always scare me because you obviously get increased opportunities with no Jason Tatum, with no Jaylen Brown, and then potentially, even more shorthanded than that. But it's also not like, these guys are going to be facing more defensive attention than normal as well. So it always scares me a little bit, especially when prices are rising. But you can't ignore that, 106 minutes this year, 1.22 DraftKings points per minute for Derek White without Tatum or Brown on the floor, 24% usage rate, and a 35.9% assist percentage. Brogdon's played 96 minutes, 200 possessions without either of them on the floor, 1.28 DraftKings points per minute, nearly a 34% usage rate, 27.5% assist percentage. They're both going to look good. Brogdon at 5,700, White at 7,100, both likely to play a bunch of minutes as well. You got, 40 minutes in regulation last game from White. Brogdon was out for that one, but he should be playing a lot here as well. So both of those guys are going to look really, really good. Grant Williams at 4,400 should play a lot of minutes with both of those guys out. He so far this season has played 116 minutes without Brown or Tatum. He's just shy of a fantasy point per minute. So you have seen him be able to step up in terms of fantasy production as well. He's only 4,400. Robert Williams, if he's in, should give you around 30, 32 minutes if he can avoid foul trouble. He's a good point per minute guy. So there is a lot to like here. And that's, before you get to if Horford plays, he's somebody that can step into multiple, voids left by Tatum and Brown. He's a capable facilitator. He's a capable scorer. He's only played 3 minutes this year without either one of Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum on the floor. So like, there's nothing to take away there, but just knowing the player he is somebody, he's not going to go out there and be a really high usage guy, but he can see an uptick in his usage. He can see an uptick in his assists. So he's someone that at 5K, if he's in, is going to look pretty good. If he's out, you have even more minutes opening up for guys like Grant Williams, Sam Hauser at 4,600. That's a pretty scary price tag, but 0.83 DraftKings points per minute in 196 minutes without those guys on the floor. Pritchard's at 0.82 DraftKings points per minute at 3,400. This is going to be a team that you're going to end up getting a lot of, even though, again, there is some reason to be concerned that, Milwaukee could kind of just shut this offense down. They're just shorthanded enough and there's enough opportunities to go around that they're still going to be a good team to get to.
Yeah, like minutes and volume might just push them past the finish line here.
Right. Like in the crunch I did before the show, and that's with, assuming Al Horford is in, I still got to like 80% Derek White, 40% Malcolm Brogdon, 30-something% Grant Williams, 22% Robert Williams, and then kind of just, mixing in Horford, Hauser, and Pritchard. But if Horford's out, then you're going to get more Hauser, more Pritchard, probably even more Brogdon.
Are you assuming Williams plays then?
Yeah, I had him in for now as well.
Okay. If Al Horford sits, do you think we see any considerable extended minute? Like Mike Muscala, what would his playing time look like in the event that Al Horford sits? He's coming up, 17 minutes off the bench last game in a competitive spot. Do you think we could see him get to like 24?
I think you could. I mean, we've seen different guys spot start when Boston's been without Horford and Williams this year. And, we've seen Blake Griffin come in and play low 20s. Like you said, we saw 17 minutes off the bench for Muscala. Earlier in the year, you were getting Cornette stepping into those spot starts. If Muscala ends up starting, I'd expect him to be playing, low to mid 20s.
Me too. Yeah, we got to pay real close attention to this one, because as it stands right now, of your normal starting lineup, and I shouldn't even say like Smart and Brown out, because the price points on guys like Hauser and White and Brogdon, but mostly White and Hauser have already increased to the point that they reflect those absences. But if you take two more guys out of, like, what do you think the starting lineup looks like? I know you said they've ran a lot of different lineups and they have, but like with Brown and Smart already out, Tatum already out, if Horford's out, what do you think the starting lineup looks like?
If Horford and Williams are out?
No, if just Horford is out, joining Tatum, like you're getting White and Hauser and Williams. What do you think? What do you think the rest, like Grant Williams, right? And then who do you think the fifth starter would be? It could be anyone, right?
Yeah. Like they could go Brogdon, but I don't know if they would move him into the starting lineup.
Because then you have nothing off the bench at all.
Right. I mean, but they can stagger White and Brogdon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They could just go to Pritchard, use it as an opportunity to get him some extra minutes, like he's been complaining about. There's multiple ways they could go there. I assume it would be Brogdon or Pritchard.
Well, fortunately, it's one of the only two 7:30 games. So we shouldn't have to sweat that all that much. Let's talk about Milwaukee, unless you got anything else for Boston, but I think we hit on most of it.
No, nothing else.
All right, let's go to the Milwaukee Bucks here. Giannis Antetokounmpo, monster price point, deservedly so. Josh had mentioned that, I think he said since the start of January, he's at, almost just a tick shy of 2 fantasy points per minute. Sure, there's some blowout concern in a game like this with most of Boston's starting lineup being sidelined. They still have some depth though, but just like, obviously the price point is very good. What do you make of him as far as like value, ownership right now? Looking at our boom bust tool, Giannis, even at this price point, has a 23% 23% ownership, 22% optimal score. So, I mean, he's right there despite almost being 13K.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just still going to be a really good play to get to. I was getting around 30% in the crunch before the show. That probably goes up now that we have Jalen Suggs looking like a better value option as well. Giannis, we have projected about 3.3 fantasy points ahead of Damian Lillard, but then 14 ahead of Domantas Sabonis, who's the third highest projected guy. So it's just a situation where, like, yeah, at the moment we don't have tons of good value, but there's enough. You have a dirt cheap Matisse Thybulle. You have Andrew Wiggins out for Golden State. You have cheap Kevon Looney. Yeah, I think I'm good.
What happened? You almost sneezed and you hold it back. What was that?
Yeah, almost sneezed.
Oh, okay. I thought you were having like a premonition or something.
Yeah, no, just trying.
You're looking into the future for a second.
Just trying not to sneeze mid sentence.
Gotcha. Okay,
Looney and Eubanks are cheap. Like, there's enough.
Try not to burp mid sentence either.
Yeah. There's enough cheap guys here that it's relatively easy to get to Giannis. And the raw point projection is just so good that I certainly want to get a lot. I could see maybe getting a little bit more Lillard since he is cheaper, but certainly want to be building around him and Lillard just because the raw point difference between them and everybody else is so big.
You think you comfortably get Lillard and Giannis into the same lineup?
I have 10 out of 150 right now.
Okay. Yeah, I was building some just by hand, and I was seeing what it looked like with both of them. It's doable, but it doesn't feel great. Like, it's definitely doable given the Boston value and some stuff that will likely get out of Golden State, but it's not that pretty at all. So
yeah, so kind of just looking through them, I don't hate them, but it's.
But you can see why you only have 10 out of 150.
Right. Kevon Looney and Marcus Morris, JaMychal Green and Trendon Watford and Jonathan Kuminga and Matisse Thybulle. Like,
in the same lineup?
Yeah, like a lot of shit that just doesn't look very good.
Yeah. If you had to pick one, is it Giannis or Lillard, given the price disparity?
I'd have more Lillard right now. That could change, though. Like, the Jalen Suggs piece impacts that at least a little bit since Suggs is a guard. Like, when I built these lineups, most of the value was at the forward spots with Jonathan Kuminga, with Marcus Morris, with Matisse Thybulle. So I think maybe that changes a little bit, but Lillard, also is less expensive. He is in a good spot as well. And he also has been playing out of his mind and, once again, playing without Nurkic also. So
the boom percentage, the probability, and this is on our boom bust tool, of achieving approximately 5x plus 10 fantasy points. Slate specific score. We've changed this from 5x in order. 73 fantasy points would be a boom for Giannis today.
Yeah, and we haven't projected for like 61. So
right. I'm not saying he can't do it. Obviously not. It's just ooh, yeah. All right. Well, outside of Giannis, when you're looking at the rest of Milwaukee, Chris Middleton's been remarkable. Josh and I actually went over this morning. We wanted to see how many of his minutes since returning, since he's not playing a lot of minutes, although we did play 25 last game, I think, are coming without Giannis. 60% of the minutes he's playing are without Giannis since he returned, which would explain the fact that despite Giannis's 42% usage rate over their last 5, when Middleton's played 20 plus in all of them, Middleton still has a 34% usage rate over that game. So when he's on the court, he's chucking. Like, he is the guy when he's out there. It's just he's playing very limited minutes. It is nice, though. 60% of those minutes coming without Giannis can go a long way if you're playing 25 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the price tag hasn't really moved either. So I like Middleton quite a bit here. When I did my NBA notes article earlier, I was really surprised because I was looking at the boom bust tool and Middleton wasn't really getting much ownership. He wasn't projected for a really high, optimal score. And since I hadn't done the strategy show, that was like my first look at the slate. And I was like, oh, I guess he's just not really that useful today. So I didn't really mention him. And then I crunched my lineups before the show and was getting a ton. And I saw that our stuff had updated and he was looking a lot better as well. So I really like Middleton. If the slate started right now and these Boston guys were in, I'd be getting to a lot of Middleton. And it's just, we got the 24 and a half minutes last game, but we had talked about it too. The game prior to that, it looked like he was going to play 24, 25 minutes. There was just a blowout. So he subbed out the same time as Giannis, the same time as Drew. If he's going to play every minute, essentially, that Giannis isn't on the floor, that does help offset that he's only playing 25 minutes or so. Overall this year now, 318 minutes played, 1.2 DraftKings points per minute, 28.7% usage rate, 28% assist percentage. And it's sort of just like, yeah, sure, maybe he plays more minutes alongside Giannis today than he has been, but that would just mean he's playing more minutes. And so it's going to sort of offset things anyway. So, I still really like Middleton since his price tag hasn't moved.
Damn, we're gonna crush 500 likes. Jordan, you see these numbers we're running right now? 390 with more than a half hour to go. Record pace, man. 2,600 people watching. Appreciate you guys. Because I'm not good at math, 392 out of 2,600 people, that's 15%. There's 85% of you out there that could atone for those sins. About to hit 500 in the next 30 seconds. I'm okay with that. I'm done complaining, but I appreciate you guys. All right. And yeah, the team was trash for both teams in the Super Bowl. It is what it is. Like, I'm not going to complain about that at all. What else do you want to get to from Milwaukee here? Because they are relatively popular, at least the big three here in Giannis, Middleton, and Drew.
Yeah, I mean, Drew looks fine as well. He's pulling 14% ownership, so a bit behind Giannis and Middleton. If you get there, you get there. I think it's a decent price tag. Obviously, he's a high upside option. I'm getting around 15% right now as well, so right around the field. Other than that, there's nothing that really stands out. If Williams and Horford end up being out, you're getting a more favorable front court matchup for Brook Lopez. I still don't think that's going to factor in enough to make him somebody that I start getting a lot of. Right now I'm basically not getting any, and you'd still have him at a $6,400 price tag that is like $2K more than guys like Eubanks and Looney, more expensive than Carter. So still tough to get to, but would make him look potentially a little bit better if those guys are out. Grayson Allen's only 4K, getting 5% ownership if you want to use him as a way to be different within a lineup here and there, but not somebody I'm actually getting to with any sort of volume. So for me, it's pretty much building around Middleton is the guy I'm getting the most right now. And then, happy getting to Giannis, happy getting to Drew. Nothing else looks particularly appealing.
Let's keep it moving then. We got 2 down, 3 to go. Before we do though, shout out the Prize Picks, man. $100 first match deposit bonus. That means you put $100 in, your account says 200. You put 50 in, it says 100. Josh was saying today too that they keep sending him emails like, hey, reload at 100% bonus again. Like, they're definitely doing big things over there. And we talked to them. We had a little sit down and said, I'm not sure how it went. We're like, hey, you got the deposit bonus. What if people in the shows use our link, right? It's in the description and it's in chat. We didn't need to tell them all that. We're like, use our link, get a free month of Stokastic plus Platinum. And they go, you're talking about like everything, like the boom bust tool, the lineup generator, the top stacks tool for all of these sports, talking about ownership, player projection. I said, yeah. They're like, yeah, but just basketball. We said, nah, basketball, hockey, PGA, MMA, NASCAR, soccer. And when the NBA All-Star break rolls around in a couple of days and you don't know what to do with yourself, you're going to have tools for all of that, even if you don't know the sport. You're talking, you sign up, you deposit at Prize Picks, you get the deposit bonus up to $100. You go play over there. You make some money because unlike traditional parlays at Prize Picks, if you make a 5-pick lineup and you only hit 4 of them, you're still 2Xing. Other books go, we'll wash our hands clean of that. Thank you, sir. And you're out. Nothing. You hit 3 of 5, you're still making money back. Let's say this. Let's say you go with a 6-pick flex play and you hit all 6, you're 25Xing. You go 5-pick, you're 10Xing. But like I said, you still 2X if you hit 4. Taco Tuesday today, so you got some great lines out there. They're giving you what would be considered good boosts. You get free squares all the time. It's awesome. You can do the power play as well, where if you hit all 4, you're 10xing, not 5, but 4. Million different ways to make it happen. You can mix sports up as many as you want into a single lineup if you know a bunch of different sports, or you just want to utilize our tools, which you're getting for free anyway for the entirety of the month, including our Discord and everything you need to crush over there. I'm telling you, straight no-brainer, no better time to take advantage of it than now, especially not in spite of, but especially with the All-Star break coming up. Get in on some hockey. Dude, shit, man, Adam used our hockey tools a couple of years ago and had no idea what he was doing. And I think he won like 2 GPPs over the All-Star break. You remember that?
Yeah, it was only 1, but it was the biggest one of the year.
It was like 50K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you weren't necessarily positive of all the players.
No, I won because some like third line guy scored a goal at low ownership. I had no idea who he was, but I have one of his jerseys now.
Nice. Yeah. Using the tools though, right? Using the ownership. Yeah. Using the top stack tool, using the projections, everything free, 120 value across the board entire month. We want you to win. The hope and the expectation is that you do win. That's why we do this. And then you stick around. And if you don't like it, all right, well, you got a free month for doing essentially nothing outside of signing up and depositing a Prize Picks and playing on a great site. Maybe you'll stick around there. Anyway, check it out. Links in the description and in chat. Prize Picks, wonderful sponsor of the Deeper Dive. Love to have you guys join the community on top of that. So if you do, hop in Discord and say what's up. All right, let's keep this one moving.
Before we get back to basketball, MSD 17 ADA really wants you to just shut up and dribble. Do you have any other ad reads you wanted to do?
Oh, yeah. What do you think? Should we do Bet Pro? Should we could do Odd Shopper? Lineup generator's pretty sick, 50% off the first week. Yeah, we could do lineup generator. You know, we don't even have to do any more basketball. What do you think? You can just sit there and build lineups. I'll talk.
Time to talk about the wire.
Sacramento and Phoenix. Sacramento, 2.5 point dogs, 234 total. No Malik Monk today. Missed last game as well. Do you think Terrence Davis is somebody that could get – he's not going to get the same minutes he had last time. That game went to overtime. It was kind of a weird rotation. What do you project him for today?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised I'm not getting more of him than I am. He played 27 minutes in regulation that game. I don't think you project that. I mean, that's more than Malik Monk is playing on average. But you can certainly get 20 to 22, with the potential for more. It was a weird game, like rotation wise, but you got Davis closing both the first half and the second half. I think the downside is like probably 16 minutes, but the upside is like 28. So there's a lot of volatility there. He is a very good point per minute guy though. 12.5% ownership right now, 15% chance of being in the optimal lineup, shooting guard and small forward eligibility. So kind of surprised I'm not getting to him. Maybe that changes between now and lock, but he did become more expensive. 4,500 is a pretty healthy price tag when the guy could play 16, 18 minutes. It's basically, to me, it's like the same play as Malik Monk normally is, except also with small forward eligibility, whereas Monk is guard only. So it's a very high upside, very low floor type play, but I think there is still some value there.
What about Sabonis today? He's kind of, to use your language, on a lot of days, a casualty of the slate on bigger slates, right? Because he only has center eligibility. You have Jonathan Kuminga today. We'll get to that game when we talk about Golden State next. You have Giannis, although he does have power forward eligibility. Kevon Looney, Sabonis, Horford if he plays, power forward eligibility. Like there's some good centers today, but I'm not sure there's any like straight center eligible only, lock them up. Domantas Sabonis fades into the background type options that we usually see when he's on the slate.
Yeah, the reason that he's still kind of difficult to get to today is that you have Lillard and Giannis that project so much better. And yeah, they're more expensive. But then the other part is that you have these cheap centers that they're not super exciting, but Kevon Looney is cheap, Eubanks is cheap, Wendell Carter is cheap, and more exciting than those other two. He's not quite as inexpensive, but it just from like a roster construction standpoint, it becomes easy to pay down at center and then get to Lillard, get to Giannis. So even though you don't have that same depth at the center position today as you normally do, it still makes it difficult to truly prioritize Sabonis. Right now, about a 17% chance of being optimal, 21% projected ownership. I'd have about 14% if the slate started. So I do think he's a good play. Like he's the third highest projected guy on the slate. It's just that I mentioned it earlier. We have him 11 points behind Lillard. We have him 14 points behind Giannis. That's a really big gap to try and make up. So good play, but not the same level of priority as Giannis or Lillard for me.
Horford and Williams are both game time decisions.
It's extremely not useful.
Extremely what?
Not useful.
Nope. But at least it's the first game on the slate. So
yep,
we'll know. We'll know. Where else do you want to go for Sacramento today?
So, I mean, De'Aaron Fox is sort of similar to Sabonis in that you're never going to be upset that you get there, but also the ownership is pretty much correct. And getting to him is going to make it a little bit more difficult to get Lillard or Giannis into those lineups, especially when you think about Boston. Like, you have Brogdon as a very good guard play. You have Derek White as a very good guard play, who's also relatively expensive, just north of 7K. If you're getting to those guys and De'Aaron Fox, you're basically out on Lillard, and you are probably going to have trouble getting to a lot of Giannis in those lineups as well. So for me, I'm not really getting to much Fox right now. I don't feel great about it. Obviously, he's good, but I'm just going to be prioritizing getting to more of Dame, getting to more of Giannis, and then some other just guards that look really good as well. White and Brogdon included, but some other guards we haven't talked about that I'm getting a lot of. So Fox is kind of just falling off for me right now. Again, it's not anything really to do with Fox. It's more so to do with liking a lot of other options more. But yeah, he's kind of falling off. And then you get to the wings with Herter, Barnes, Murray. Any of those guys are fine, but I'm not really getting there right now either. I'm just pretty much under the field on this Sacramento team, and I don't feel great about it. I mean, this is one of two games on the slate that actually has a relatively competitive spread. Phoenix favored by 2 here with a 234 total. The first game we talked about, 8-point spread for Milwaukee. The next game's a 7-point spread in favor of Toronto. You have the 2-point spread here. You have an 8-point spread on the Clippers game and a 3-point spread on the Blazers game. So like, there's a decent chance that this just ends up being a game that is more competitive than the rest, and that these guys do come through, but they're just not getting in my lineups as easily as guys from other teams right now.
How easily are guys from Phoenix getting into lineups? We have Josh Okogie, of course, that's, relatively popular. Booker's played 26 minutes in the 2 games since he's returned. Ayton's absolutely crushing right now. That price is north of 8K, but he really has played extremely impressive basketball. You got those 20-10, 30-10 type double-doubles mixed in there. Not exactly a bad matchup against the fast-paced Sacramento team, less than stellar defensive team as well. What do we make of Phoenix today? And I didn't even mention Chris Paul yet.
Yeah, so Phoenix is interesting because it is a really good spot against Sacramento. This is likely to be a competitive game. As I was saying, 7,700 on Chris Paul, I think looks good. I'm getting to a lot of him right now at only 16% ownership. Basically 2x the field there. He's one of the guards that I was referring to that is just making it difficult for me to get a lot of De'Aaron Fox at more expensive price tag. Josh Okogie, 4,600, pulling 16% ownership right now. I don't totally get that one. Not really getting there. I think the ownership's a little bit too high. You are getting bodies in this Phoenix lineup that you haven't had, so there's no guarantee you're getting huge minutes from Okogie anymore. He started and played 35 minutes last game, but you have TJ Warren, you have Darius Bazley, you have guys that can kind of cut into those minutes. So with the increased price tag and relatively high ownership, I'm having trouble getting a lot of him. DeAndre Ayton, I love the ceiling there. It's a good matchup. I'm having trouble getting there just because of the value at center. And then also, right now, assuming Robert Williams is in and getting to Wendell Carter Jr. But Paul's the guy I'm getting to the most. Ayton's the guy I would like to get to after Paul in terms of just like who I feel good about. And I think he's in a really good spot. And then if you end up mixing in some Okogie, some 3K Darius Bazley in place of like Matisse Thybulle, that makes some sense. But really, to me, Paul's the only guy I'm getting a lot of.
Earlier in the day, it looked like you were going to see no Klay Thompson on the second of a back-to-back. It was never, it was always, Kerr was kind of, opaque when it came to the way that he described whether or not Klay would play, but he's playing. And now for personal reasons, Andrew Wiggins is the one that sits out of this one. So that definitely changes things a lot. Earlier it was, it was going to be Dante DiVincenzo getting massive ownership in a spot like this. He's still pulling some, still a reasonable play at 5,100. What is just given that you don't really have, now I guess now with Klay in, that's not true. Like Kuminga at 3,800, I guess it is pretty damn difficult to get away from him today, despite it not being the perfect matchup. 3,800 for Kuminga looks like a pretty nice spot, and he's pulling good ownership too.
Yeah, exactly. It's just going to look good whether he comes off the bench or starts. He's very inexpensive. He's $3,800. You just took, Andrew Wiggins minutes out. So you're talking on average 32 to 34 minutes. Last night it was 39. So while last night you only got 13 minutes from Kuminga, you got 25 from DiVincenzo in that game. Even if he replaces Wiggins in the starting lineup, you still have more minutes available that are likely to filter down to Kuminga. He's cheap. He's getting 30% ownership, which is about where I'm at as well. There is obviously risk. And if he comes off the bench, he is riskier, but if he starts, you can feel a little bit better about his minutes. And it's just a cheap value on a slate where you certainly need some of that. Kevon Looney, same kind of thing. 4,100, played 31 minutes yesterday and didn't close that game, which you kind of can look at as a positive. He could have played even more, but they closed with DiVincenzo, Thompson, Draymond, Wiggins, and Poole. You could see Looney in the closing lineup tonight, playing even more minutes. But even if he plays 28 to 30 at 4,100, he's going to project well. DiVincenzo is a strong value at 5,100. Poole still gives you a very high ceiling. His price tag has come up to 8,300, which is more in line with where he probably should be without Steph. But you're still talking about a 34 to 35% usage guy, likely to play mid 30s in minutes. Dealt with some foul trouble last night. So lost about 4.5 minutes at the end of the second quarter, but certainly still a very high ceiling for him. I'm not getting to a ton right now, but the ceiling's there. And then Clay, is expensive as well. I'm not getting too much of him either, but he does have Ford eligibility, which is nice.
Do you think maybe there's some leverage there for Poole now that his ownership has come down considerably with the news?
Yeah, I like him as a tournament play. I'm having trouble getting to him right now. I have like 2 or 3%. I sort of wish I had more just because that ceiling is still there. Like you've seen these games where, he goes for 50 plus without Curry and, relatively frequently. That doesn't matter if he's 7K, 7,200, 8K, or 8,300. You're going to need it on this slate. So it makes him a very good tournament play, I think. I'm just still sort of having trouble getting to him.
Anybody else you want to get to? And by the way, he does have one of the better leverage scores on the slate, which doesn't surprise me at 10% ownership. He's like top 5 right now in leverage score, according to our boom bust tool. I get it. Before we move on to the Clippers, anything else you like from the Warriors?
I don't think so. I'm double checking now just to make sure I didn't randomly get a lot of anything else. But no, it's pretty much if the slate started for me right now, Looney's showing up a lot. Kuminga's showing up a lot. JaMychal Green's in 7%, which that's pretty much how we have him projected as well. $3,200 center, just hoping to get lucky. But to me, it's pretty much building around Kuminga and Looney. If you personally, somebody watching is getting to DiVincenzo, Jordan Poole, I do like those plays. I just personally don't have much right now.
On the other side, the Clippers honestly might be the lowest owned team collectively on this slate. There's nobody with an optimal score north of 8 in the boom bust tool. Nobody pulling ownership north of 8% either. You also just have a scenario here where it looks like it's back. It's what? We good? All right, cool. Yeah, just refresh, I guess, if you need to. Okay. Yeah, we're good. All right. Blame it on YouTube, man. Everyone blames it on Jordan or whoever's producing. Or they blame it on me. I have some control over this, but blame it on YouTube. Send your complaints that way. We're back. All I was going to say is this is a spot where do we really have a good idea of what this rotation is going to look like given all of these new additions for the Clippers?
So to answer Des Morris, Des asked if I think Clay plays. He's not on the injury report, so yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the Clippers, we'd seen a tighter rotation from them going into the deadline. In their most recent game against Milwaukee, you got another 31 minutes, and there was garbage time, so he would have played more. You got 31 minutes from Morris. Kawhi was out that game. George was in. He played 32. You had, and again, there was garbage time. You had Ty Lue say that he was going to limit Paul George's minutes going into the break. and Kawhi's minutes. I still expect, 32 to 34 minutes from those guys. But it just makes this one nothing really stands out because George and Leonard, neither one are particularly inexpensive, and they're both in. Zubats is at 5,500. Also has to contend with Mason Plumlee now, though. So you're going to get it's going to be much fewer and further between the games where you get those like 36-minute games from Zubats. You're going to get a lot more, mid 20s type games. The only guy that I'm particularly interested in is a very inexpensive Marcus Morris.
Yeah, he's not playing 30 plus minutes a night.
Yeah, he's not a great point per minute guy, but he's only 4,200 on DraftKings. He's only getting 8% ownership. I'd be around double the field on that right now. And it's not that I'm excited about Marcus Morris. It's just that I think he's a little bit underpriced and a little bit underowned.
Yeah, like if you're 4,200 and you're playing 30, 31, 32 minutes a night, I think you could always make the argument that they're perfectly reasonable. On a per minute basis, is he great? No, but he's not terrible. What's his per minute? Probably like 0.8.
I think it's around 0.8. I'm looking now to see what it is in the games that Kawhi and George
are both in. Yeah. Either way, the minutes will be there. Now you just have to hope A, he doesn't get ejected, and B, that he can give you enough production as a scorer, like 15 points.
Yeah, 22 games this year where Kawhi and George have both been in. 0.8 DraftKings points per minute from Morris. 27.5 minutes per game, but recently you've been getting more playing time than that. It's likely you're getting 30 to 32 minutes here at 0.8 fantasy points per minute and low ownership.
Outside of that ejection, he's been playing plenty of minutes, so I get it. All right, let's wrap this one up. Hey, is your BetPro video? Your BetPro video is up on OddsShopper, right?
Should be.
Yeah, should be. Who's the top prop tonight? What do you got going today?
I don't know, man. I don't remember what I say.
You don't remember who the top prop was?
I have no idea.
Oh, you must. All right.
Well, so I do one for 4 different sports books. And then today when I did it, there were like 100 questionable players. So it was pretty much just finding players in the tool that weren't waiting on Q tags.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it was like overs on Terrence Davis stuff, like rebounds and 3-pointers. Under on Banchero blocks maybe. And I think FanDuel was under 1.5 threes for Chris Paul.
All right.
Well, but that was also earlier, so I don't have it in front of me.
You can find out for yourself. The first week's entirely free. Plus, if you get in now and you end up signing up, you're getting grandfathered into the price because it's going to go up soon. It's sick though. It's been crushing. It's giving you you don't have to do the work. Put it that way. Jordan could throw it up on the screen. That's really the simplest way to explain it. Like, you don't need to do any of the work with NBA Bet Pro. It's very simple. You're getting the top bets spoon-fed to you every single day across the board with NBA Bet Pro. You're getting everything you need, and ultimately it's going to pay for itself. You have the win. What's up?
The best bet right now is Daniel Gafford over 1.5 blocks at plus 170 on BetMGM.
Okay. Yeah, we're giving you the sports book. We're giving you the EV on that, the win percentage, everything out there. And there might be some other stuff you're looking at. You go, what's that? Well, that's why we've got a key for like SBet percentage, SEV. All of this stuff is going to make you a better sports bettor, and it's going to save you a ton of time in doing so. So if you haven't done it, 1, watch Adam's video Monday through Friday, get yourself set up, and 2, just go over and sort these. Like they're already sorted for you. You're just going to find the best bets with the best projections out there, doing nothing for yourself outside of plugging these in and winning some money. So first week is free. You want to get in, links in the description. Jordan threw it in the chat as well. Very, very cool stuff. That's enough. We got so many brand new tools out, and everyone's just pretty stoked about this one. So check it out if you'd like. NBA Bet Pro, first week's free, link in the description and in chat. All right, let's wrap this one up. We got Washington. We got Portland. So Kyle Kuzma, not on the injury report. He was earlier in the day, not questionable, but it was a second of a back-to-back. He missed yesterday despite going through shoot-around. Now that he's healthy, though, and he missed a handful of games, how tough does that, outside of him, how tough does that make the rest of this team to get to, given that so many of their price points have already changed to reflect Kuzma out of the lineup? I
think it makes it tough, and I don't totally understand why he's getting so much ownership either. We have 13.5% ownership coming into Kuzma on DraftKings at 8,200. I get that he's, small forward, power forward, so you're not competing at center or at the guard spots, but I'm really surprised he's getting that much ownership at that price. I would have said that I thought he was a interesting tournament option, assuming he was going to be low owned, but if he's going to be pulling that kind of ownership, I'm probably not getting there. Porzingis is up to 9,900. Certainly gives you a high ceiling. He's still around a 1.3 DraftKings point per minute guy. That's giving you 33 or 34 minutes, but he's priced for that. Beal's up to 8K, second half of a back-to-back. We've seen them be pretty cautious with his minutes. It is worth noting he played almost 35 minutes last night on the front end of a back-to-back, so maybe they are feeling good about ramping him up a little bit, which probably means he will come out of the All-Star break on the injured report again. But maybe, he gets to 34, 35 minutes here, but the price tag's up to 8K and you have Kuzma back. So it's really difficult to like a lot of anything from Washington. I think Gafford in tournaments is sort of interesting because we've talked about from a roster construction standpoint, looking to that cheaper price range at center. And most people are going to be looking to Looney. They're going to be looking to Eubanks, looking to Wendell Carter. Gafford gives you that massive block upside, but he's also doesn't project quite as well as those other guys. He's pulling 5% ownership. That's about where I'm at as well. But within a given lineup, he makes some sense. But Washington, I think, is a pretty difficult team to get to today.
Very difficult. Portland, on the other hand, no Jeremy Grant. This looks, whew. All right. So we got 2 10 p.m. games. This wraps it up. We turn it over to Live Before Lock with Greg and Eric after this. Also, stick around, Stokastic Hall of Fame in between that. Shout out, induct everybody into the Hall of Fame who had big wins over the past week, or really just finished top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more. Could be $100, could be 100,000, doesn't matter. As long as you're rocking the Stokastic avatar, you're getting up there and you're getting the free month. Stokastic.com/avatar, by the way. And shout out to you guys. Crushed 700 likes. So yeah, crushed it, dude. Absolute numbers today. It helps when you start at 5:30. I tell you that much. But with Portland, I want to get to Lillard in a second, but I think we have to start with Matisse Thybulle here. I mean, 32%, just absolute. This guy, I've watched a lot of him. I watched a lot of him in Philly. I've seen a lot of opportunities for him to put up big games and get decent minutes. Of course, that last game, sure, huge game against the Lakers, 14-6 with 4 stocks and 2 dimes. He shot 4 of 6 from 3, and he is shooting a little bit better from 3 this year because historically, he's been terrible. But we have to start there. 31% going to Matisse Thybulle, and you said you're getting even more of that, or a lot more. Let's dive into this one.
There's not even a lot to say. Like, I hope it changes for me because I don't want my night building around. Matisse Thybulle is the exact kind of guy that normally, if you just tell me ahead of time on a slate that 1/3 of the field is playing Matisse Thybulle, I'm just like, yeah, cool. 67% of the field is trying to win and 33% is playing Matisse Thybulle. But on this slate, it just opens up so much for you because he does have shooting guard, small forward eligibility on DraftKings at the minimum salary. He started yesterday. He played 26 minutes, I think. 26 and a half minutes. He subbed out with almost 7 minutes to go. He played more minutes than Cam Reddish did, even though Reddish, they both started. But once again, Reddish only played around 18, 19 minutes. Thybulle played more than that. The minutes look like they're going to be there. He played surprisingly well yesterday. He should get open looks on this team. You have Anthony Simons and Dame Lillard that are going to be drawing so much attention. There was a point in last night's game after Dame scored 30 in the first half that the Lakers basically just spent the third quarter having everybody just follow Damian Lillard around the floor and letting him just pass to open shooters. Like that is good for Thybulle, even though he's not, a great shooter, but he's also just 3K with the most flexible position eligibility you can get. For his career, he's a 0.65 DraftKings point per minute guy. There's a pretty good chance he's better than that on Portland, even if it's not good. 0.7, 0.75, somewhere in there, I think is reasonable. But as long as he gets those minutes, it just makes him project well and allows you to get to Giannis and Lillard so easily. So again, I don't mind if I do lose some of him, but I do think he's clearly one of the best point per dollar plays. He's somebody that you should have in cash, assuming he's starting. And, in tournaments, you can certainly make the opposite case too, where you play more of Nas Little, who's, a better point per minute guy. You play more of Reddish and hope to get more minutes from him. You can make those cases based on ownership and the fact that Thybulle's not a very good point per minute guy. But for right now, I'm having a really difficult time getting away from him.
We'll get to Lillard and the rest thing. We'll close out the Blazers in a second, but Al Horford is out, Adam.
All right, so that should help get away from Thibault a little bit.
Yeah, good call. And live before live, don't go anywhere. These guys with all this injury news, certainly going to be able to help you out on that front. No question. Anything that we haven't gotten to, they'll take care of as well. Damian Lillard over the last month, dude, massive minutes, 34% usage, 1.56 DraftKings points per minute across the board. Just huge numbers, 35% assist rate. He's essentially doing everything. He's getting to the line at a career high clip, almost 10 times per game this season. There's really nothing not to love about him outside of the fact that Giannis is also on this slate, and he's been even better than Dame. He is more expensive, but yeah, Dame's a hard guy to overlook, and the ownership and the boom bust tool would bear out that same analysis.
Yeah, he looks great. I'm getting to more of him than Giannis just because he is a little bit less expensive. You also, do get a bump without Nurkic. Now you also don't have Jeremy Grant in there as well. So you're getting tons of usage for Lillard. 11 games this year without Nurk. 1.36 DraftKings points per minute, 33.5% usage rate, just shy of a 30% assist percentage. He looks really good. Obviously not the same as Giannis, like you said, but also projects to play more minutes than Giannis. So that helps. And good spot for him. I love getting to Lillard. I love getting to Anthony Simons. Simons only pulling 27.5% ownership on DraftKings. I'd have more than that with the way things look right now. He should play huge minutes. It's going to be a more consistent secondary scorer role for Simons with Jeremy Grant out. Like replacing Jeremy Grant with Matisse Thybulle usage-wise is a huge difference that opens more things up for Simons and Lillard to take over even more as scorers. And obviously Lillard's usage can really only go so much higher before he just turns into like Luka Doncic, which most people don't. So you expect Simons to see a nice bump there as well. Also, Nurkic to Eubanks is a downgrade. It is, Eubanks is a lower usage guy than Nurkic. So this really has gone from a team that was Damian Lillard, the clear one, and then Nurkic, Simons, Grant sort of on a game-by-game basis being that number two guy, to Anthony Simons being the very, very, very clear number two at this point.
There are four Blazers with 30+% ownership right now. Drew Eubanks at 16%. Along with Boston, these are going to be two insanely popular teams today. Are there any ways, not just, it wouldn't make sense for me to ask you, oh, you like all these guys? Of course we do, right? Of course. Especially at some of the price points here and usage with Dame. But are there any ways that you think maybe we can get different with Boston or Portland? Probably a good way to close the show out.
So I mentioned earlier I was getting a little bit of trend in Watford, but like he's center only, so I don't really like that. It's just that he falls into lineups here and there. I have a hard time getting too creative with Portland because the guys getting ownership are the ones that I like. If you wanted to take some shots on a $3,700 Shadon Sharp or a $3,800 Cam Reddish, I think that's defensible. Sharp, still non-garbage time yesterday, only played about 20 minutes. He played 25 and a half total, but about 5 minutes of that was garbage time. So that's, you're not going to feel good about going to Sharp, but you could get a rotation to break out where Sharp plays a bit more, Thybulle plays less. Like that is something that is possible. Same goes for Cam Reddish, where, he played 19 minutes yesterday. He's probably going to play fewer minutes than Thybulle, but who knows? That's also likely to be a very volatile spot. If you happen to get the game where Reddish plays 28 minutes and Thybulle plays 20, that puts you in a good spot ownership wise. So if you were looking for low owned pieces from Portland saying like, all right, what's the most volatile part of this rotation? Where maybe are people going to be wrong? I would say that people are probably playing Thybulle and Little at, it's not that they're bad plays, but they're probably playing them a little bit too much compared to Sharp and Reddish from a range of outcome standpoint. That's not to say that I'm playing a bunch of Sharp or Reddish, but if you were just looking to be different there, that's the area that I would pay attention to.
For sure. All right, close it with this. Steve said getting a lot of Nasir Little on the lineup generator. He pops up a lot. Yeah. Hey, listen, dude, you can lock certain players and you can also you can swap players out if you're getting stuff that you don't like. You can also do whatever type of build you want, whether it's like chalky or contrarian or just get all of the lineups in there for GPP. So keep that. I know you probably already know, Steve, and you're just pointing that out. But for anyone that's on the half off trial for the first week, $4, by the way, links down there in the description. Throw it in chat before I go, Jordan. Just so you guys know, like you can really massage that to get what you want, but don't go crazy with it because we're giving you the, like we're generating thousands of lineups and then getting rid of all of the bad ones off the top. So like these are all of the ones that in the simulations are coming up as like top 1% lineups that you're getting. So don't go too crazy because these are good lineups that you're going to pull out of there. But you can definitely make it's $4 for the first week. So even if you're playing like $1, $2 a day, it's still worthwhile to check it out. Hope you hit something big at only $4 for the first week. But yeah, and then that other question, I forget who it was from, but asked, is there not a Taco Tuesday on Prize Picks? Live Before Lock coming up right now. They're going to hit on everything for that as well. There is now. Paul George points. There you have it. 17.5 for Prize Picks. Boom. Get your free month at Stokastic. Go to Prize Picks. Take advantage of Taco Tuesday. Sit back, watch Live Before Lock. Shout out to Adam at Ship My Money DFS, me at Lafayette_D. And hey, follow Jordan, or thanks to Jordan Klein. Don't follow him because he would tell me not to have anyone follow him. Shout out to Jordan. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of the wonderful Valentine's Day eve.
Follow Jordan if you like pictures of food.
Yeah. All right, boys and girls. We'll see you next time. Yo, it's that time of week again. We're inducting you fine people into the Stokastic Hall of Fame, giving out some Stokastic Plus Platinum memberships in the process, and all you got to do to get involved, download the Stokastic profile picture at stokastic.com/avatar. Tweet your wins at Stokastic HOF on Twitter. It's Stokastic Hall of Fame. Get a free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. Get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, and you're in. Just like our pal Rajal, who said lineup generator plus boom bust tool plus lineup builder, all of those tools over at Stokastic, by the way, equals money. Got a $10,000 win, saw the other Stokastic in first place for $100K, and a $50,000 win on the Tuesday NBA shot, the Thursday NBA clutch shot. Monster wins there from Rajal. Love that the tools are working for you. And again, the lineup generator does it again, almost took it down. Glad one of our guys won at least. This team rocks. Yeah, nice showing for Stokastic in the Thursday NBA clutch shot. And then Rick, thanks for all the tools. Second place in a contest of about 6,000. That gets you the free month, brother. Rick with the $4,000 win there in the 50K chain mover. And then how about David Burton? What's up, man? Let's go. Took down the $12 single entry on DK. We're back in the game. Little $2,000 win there for David Burton. And in a 15K Monday NHL breakaway, grade A picks, been on a nice little heater on Prize Picks and FanDuel. Props to the NHL Stokastic staff. Arden from Yonkers. Congrats, man. $4,000 right there going to Arden. And then Joe Herm with the $10,000 win. Woke up to this. Let's go at Stokastic Hall of Fame. Huge win. Congrats, Joe. How about Chris? $1,000 first place in the 10K mini max. Not easy to win that. And then Timmy, I'm not going to pronounce that last name, but finally get that free month, $500 second place in the sharpshooter. Congrats, Timmy. Great stuff. And Avi, thanks, gang, for the advice and support. Couldn't do it without you. Almost 2K there in the big game ball. Followed up by Dave Oliver. 1,500 here. Little hockey action. Thank you guys for your great NHL content. The best. Check out my NHL lineup on FanDuel. Can you build a better team? And mind you, with the NBA All-Star break coming up, we got NHL tools and NHL strategy shows every day of the week. So stick around for that, even when NBA is not there. All right, Brendan from Buffalo, too. And another one. Well, Prize Picks. He's been crushing on Prize Picks. $10 in the 250 right there in a 6-picks flex play. And Bambo, $400. What is that? First place out of 25,000 there. Took down the fadeaway last night on FanDuel. How about a free month? A little aggressive, but yes, you will get it. We're men of our word. And the Ultimate Fight Show, awesome, great, awesome parlay hit for the Ultimate Fight Show. Want to thank the folks at Stokastic. 240 into over 3,000. Congrats to all of you. Remember, stokastic.com/avatar. Use that avatar wherever it is you play. Tweet your wins at Stokastic Hall of Fame. Get inducted into the Hall of Fame right here and win a free month of Stokastic.
It's not good.
I mean, it is, but...
I mean, it is, but it's not yeah, you know what I mean.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another Stokastic NBA Live Before Lock. As per usual, Eric and myself breaking down tonight's slate, although we kind of already have a lot of the injury news, so this is going to be a little bit different looking than normal in terms of yesterday. We spent basically 90 minutes just reacting to news. That's probably not going to be the case today because the big piece of news that we were waiting on came from the Boston Celtics. We had both Robert Williams and Al Horford questionable, but just a couple minutes before we started, of course, conveniently, as my lineups had finished running, Al Horford out, Robert Williams in. So we're going to talk about the impact of that in a second, but do us a big favor, guys, while you come in here, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Shout out to Prize Picks, who is sponsoring the show alongside potentially TaylorMade is another potential new sponsor that Eric is angling for. But Eric, what is happening?
That'd be okay with me. That Tiger Woods guy is pretty good. He's aligned with them. He's playing golf this weekend. Looking forward. Check out the PGA First Look. That'll be coming out here shortly. Very excited to be talking golf, working on the golf stuff. There was a lot to comb through today because Riviera, I mean, it's one of my favorite tournaments of the year. Hopefully I can get out to either the Thursday round for a little bit or to Sunday. I'll be back in town for Mohai. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day, Greg. It's officially...
There we go. Our day, our special day. Which a lot of people don't know, but when we first originally formed our tandem bobsled team, it was on Valentine's Day. Now, part of that is because you and I declared that in our relationship, there's a Valentine's Day once a week. But either way, you know, it was very nice. And this is very
I smell sexy. Can have a little bit of that.
That aside, happy Valentine's Day to you and your significant other. Hope that you guys all have wonderful DFS shows together as we are about to. But let's talk about the Boston Celtics here, because we got this news just shortly before we started the show, and I haven't really set any kind of restrictions or any rules in Fantasy Cruncher. But my initial reaction after rerunning lineups with this Boston Celtics news is, oh my God, I'm playing everybody from the Celtics and a lot of them right now.
Yeah, a little bit of How's Your Father, Sam Hauser, Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams. Those four, Grant Williams. 5. Mike Muscala showing up now for me. I think he probably plays a couple more minutes. Peyton Pritchard, he whines a lot. Stop being a little bitch. How about that, Peyton Pritchard? You're fine. You play on the Celtics, dude. Like, there's a lot of better basketball players than you. And hey, I like Peyton Pritchard. Quack, quack, Oregon. But like, shut up and play basketball. Like, why are you asking for a trade? You're Peyton Pritchard.
So I think a lot of people probably don't really know what it is that you're referencing. I don't even think he asked for a trade. He didn't understand at the trade deadline why he wasn't getting more minutes. And he was complaining about it in multiple interviews. I could be mistaken. I don't think he ever asked for a trade. He was just kind of demanding more playing time. It's like, come on, dude, you're Peyton Pritchard. You're on the best team in the NBA. What you want, like Jason Tatum should lose out minutes for Peyton Pritchard? Like who? What are you angling for?
Like, yeah, and Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon. Like, oh, I just let Pritchard cook. What? No, it's Peyton Pritchard. Like, shut up, dude. Just play your role. Like, you can come in once in a while. They'll give you the ball. They'll let you shoot a little bit, but you're not that good. You're not that good. You can't play defense. You're not that good. Stop it.
With that said, I kind of like him tonight because
I do too. I was going to say
there's only so many guys that are available for Boston, and I'm going to have to figure out how many players I'm allowing from this team into lineups today, particularly on DraftKings where the min price is so low. Because you look at this team right now, and here's who's available. You know, Derek White, Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Sam Hauser, Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, Mike Muscala. Then you got like Luke Cornett. And then beyond that, it's J.D. Davidson, Blake Griffin, and Cabangeli, which I don't know that Cabangeli or that Blake Griffin are either going to be in the rotation. Same goes for J.D. Davidson. And then it's just the options are so slim and the blowout risk is fairly high to the extent of, like, if this game is one-sided, Peyton Pritchard, I already think has to be at least a decent part of the rotation.
Yeah.
And then blowout run, I assume is his as well.
I just had to pull this up because it's just fascinating to me. So for the last 3 seasons, 11th, 19th, and 29th percentile defense. So he's actually improved. He's not like, well, he's still in the bottom third of the league in terms of defensive plus minus. So there's that. But my God, his offensive game, he just forgot how to shoot this season. 16%, 16th percentile true shooting, 52% true shooting percentage, 51st percent effective field goal percentage. The dude is terrible. And all of that being said, he feels like a piece of value to get different on today's slate. Plus, he could get blowout run. Plus, I mean, we should just be playing a lot of this team in general. And he's the one guy coming in with sub 10% ownership that I still think no matter what is playing 15, 20 minutes. So there you go.
Well, number one, I think he's playing way more than 15 minutes.
I think I have him for 20 right now.
So the other part of this too is I assume that he's going to be more popular once we get an ownership run.
You think so? Okay.
I
have him. I mean, I don't see him playing a lot more than 20 minutes today. So unless you have the blowout, of course.
So, I mean, just who are the other guards that are getting minutes then, though?
I mean, I think they could just play Hauser. I mean, he's somebody that could shift over a little bit. Can help stretch it. Grant Williams plays the 3. I think they could end up playing some really weird guys alongside Robert Williams. Like you could have Luke Cornett out on the floor with him. You could have, because Luke Cornett, we've got right around 17 minutes here. We'll see. But yeah, Peyton Pritchard, I think for me, it's more of what those minutes could be rather than what he projects out at. Because I mean, I haven't projected for 17 fantasy points.
Yeah. So here's what I think the starting lineup is going to be for Boston. I think that it's going to be Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon in the backcourt. Then you got Sam Hauser as a wing. And then the front court, I think they go Grant Williams and Robert Williams.
I agree.
Now, with that said, you start to look at who's going to play the bench minutes. And how does Peyton Pritchard not just play all of the guard bench minutes all the guard bench minutes?
All the guard bench minutes. That's a good question. I mean, they are on a back-to-back too. So keep that in mind. Boston plays tomorrow. I know because I'm looking at 10 games coming down tomorrow for my video tomorrow night. I think that they can do some weird things where I think Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon, if this game is competitive, they just play a ton here, an absolute metric ton. Sam Hauser probably plays a ton. We've got him projected north of 32.5. So again, for me, Peyton Pritchard, I think that they can still go Mike Muscala, Grant Williams. They're going to have some combinations. I think Robert Williams, I mean, for me, I think Luke Cornett probably plays some 4 behind Grant Williams, and Grant Williams just plays a boatload of minutes too. If the game stays remotely competitive, I think that you're going to just see those main 5 guys play a lot. And Robert Williams, the one thing too, is that we have seen him spike some massive minutes compared to what we expected. 33 last time out against Memphis. So, I mean, can he play 35? I think he's probably all right for it. So if it's competitive, you probably just have those key guys out there. But yeah, Peyton Pritchard, you just kind of look at the backcourt and you're like, well, there's nobody else. Well, Derek White and Brogdon could just play all of it anyway.
So here's how our minutes are currently situated. Here's what we have projected. We have Derek White for 37. We have Brogdon for 29. And then we have Pritchard for 27.5. And that's not too far off.
27.5?
I gave Pritchard 28. I just don't know who else plays guard minutes. They just don't have guards. Everybody's out. Unless is JD Davidson going to play minutes?
I suppose. I guess for me, it's more of just if it's competitive, why don't you just play White for 40 minutes and Brogdon for 34? Again, I think we're probably under projecting Malcolm Brogdon a little bit. He played 35 minutes 2 games ago. If it's competitive, we have him right now at 29. I think he could play way more than 29 that we have projected. And he's already one of the best plays on the slate, the highest owned player that exists on today's slate. So I'm still going to play him a ton. He might just be close to a lock for me at this point.
Yeah. So I think we could look back to a couple games ago and I do think it's reasonable to think that Brogdon plays more than the 28 minutes. But with that said, that game too, where we saw Derek White still played 38, Brogdon played 35, Tatum still played 37 in that game, and Jaylen Brown played 17. Those minutes still have to go to other guys too. So even in a game where Derek White played 38, Brogdon played 35, there's still a bunch of extra minutes to allocate. And I just think a lot of it kind of ends up having to go here to Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, I'm not going to completely push back on it. I'm just looking at even when everybody's telling me they have 8 guys. I'm very aware that they don't have many people, and that so I'm just pulling it out. Derek White, Hauser, Williams, Tatum, Horford, Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, Mike Muscala, Luke Cornett. So you're taking Tatum off the floor, boom, gone. You're taking Al Horford. So basically 7 guys that they played against Memphis 2 games ago that are still available out of that same grouping. You had 18 minutes for Peyton Pritchard. Obviously, the Jason Tatum, Al Horford pieces removed from that. No Jaylen Brown still as well. For me, yeah, I'm probably with you a little bit more. I was probably going a little bit low on Pritchard coming off of the Horford news. I think 22 going to like 25 makes some sense. We've got him, 27 minutes, 27 and a half minutes. It's a lot of minutes, but yeah, we're going to be playing tons of Boston. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm not even arguing against Peyton Pritchard. It's more of just like trying to keep things in check so that I don't get to like 5 of these guys in every lineup.
So that's the other part of this. Then, and by the way, FanDuel and DraftKings are going to be inherently different. FanDuel, considering it's a 5-game slate and all the value on Boston, if you have some lineups that have 4 Boston players, it's not problematic in my opinion. But on DraftKings, how are you going to cap Boston? Because here's the push and pull here is number one is, generally I don't want to have lineups of like 4 or 5 players from the same team, but the Celtics are all so ridiculously cheap by and large part. We've got Derek White is $7,100 on DraftKings. You got Brogdon is $5,700. Still not crazy expensive. So how many Boston players are willing to have in any one individual lineup on DK?
I mean, I would get to some with 5 at the moment. If the slate locked now, I would get to a couple with 5. I'm probably going to cap it at 4. I can't imagine I want to. And plus, we do have some type of value. There are a lot of pieces of Portland that I think are interesting. We talked about Nasir Little-Thibault. We talked about Trendon Watford yesterday, who had ended up being Matisse Thybulle starting, and now he's going to be crazy popular coming off of that. It's coming down a little bit as a result of Peyton Pritchard kind of elevating. You're just kind of seeing that push and pull exist there. He's down to 25%. He was closer to 33% in our previous runs, that being Thybulle. But Nasir Little, somebody that I'm going to get exposure to. Shaedon Sharpe, somebody that I'm trying to force into a couple of extra lineups. I know that it was blowout inherent, and this is just a game with a 1-point spread here, but yesterday's was 2. And yeah, the Lakers ran out of the gym towards the end. You got 5 minutes blowout run for Shaedon Sharpe, but I think finding a little bit of utility, getting to some of those late pieces, I think they're going to be guys that you still want to rotate through in your build. So I'm probably going to cap it at 4 for Boston, no matter what.
Okay. I don't have any kind of issue with that whatsoever. Still trying to figure out what to do with that as we get a little bit further along here and a little bit more relaxed, because we've got all the injury news at this point. I don't expect anything kind of crazy, and we could start answering some of your guys' questions. One thing I want to mention before we start doing that, though, if you haven't signed up at PrizePicks yet, the sponsor of today's show, you see him right over Eric Lindquist's right shoulder. If you guys sign up at PrizePicks using our link, you're going to get up to a $100 bonus on your first deposit and 1 free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. So access to our player projections, which already totally updated for all the Celtics news, ownership projections, our new lineup generator, which is really just the easiest way you guys could possibly build lineups. And we might even end up featuring the lineup generator. I think we might be able to run some lineups in the lineup generator in a little bit here, Eric, especially because the news is out. After we answer your guys' questions, actually, I think we will pull up the lineup generator and just look at some of the lineups that it's building right now and some of the exposures that we get from that. But first, your guys' questions, starting with a super chat from Ace of Spade. Best DK tiers plays for today. All right, so I'm off to a good start. Let me run lineups for you for DK tiers, Ace of Spade, and then I'll get back to you. The next question is from, we've got Mr. Coolcam 97. He wants to know who are the top 5 plays for FanDuel single entry. Okay, so these are the players I got to the most in my latest FanDuel run. Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams. And by the way, because the min price is different on FanDuel, some of these cheap Celtics guys are just nowhere near the same priority. Like Peyton Pritchard at $3,900 on FanDuel, way different looking than $3,400 on DK. But the players I got to the most as I was running FanDuel lineups, Brogdon, Robert Williams, Anthony Simons, Damian Lillard, and Nasir Little.
Nothing sounds weird there.
Nothing at all. I mean, it would have sounded weird a week ago if I told you those were some of my most players.
Sure would have.
But yeah, not today. Not today. Anything else that you want to add?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay. I am totally cool with that as well. Ace of Spade, I'm running some tiers lineups for you as I'm talking as well. If anybody's questions in Discord, fire those in. And if we have questions there, which we do, this is Miami High Life. How many Celtics are too many? So if somebody had, what's the number of lineup of players from the Celtics somebody would have where you would say that is just unacceptable.
6 is unacceptable. 5, we could have a debate. You better have a piece of Milwaukee and hope it goes to double OT or something. I mean, 5, if you just run it unencumbered, if you just simply run a crunch with no change to the restriction. Let me just do one more here quick because I had a couple of rules in place. I'm going to take my rules out because like I have things that I don't want to have, like Robert Williams, and I don't want to play Robert Williams with Mike Muscala today. I doubt they share the floor a lot. We have enough cheap pieces to rotate through where I don't really see the upside being there for a Muscala alongside Robert Williams. So I have some of those pieces intact to make sure I don't get to that combination. And then let me see. If I have team stack, I have 0 out of 150 that show up with 5, even just running it where there's the first one. Very last lineup that came through had 5. So 1 out of 150 showing up with that. So 4. 4 just makes the most sense inherently, and it would seem as though projections echo that.
Okay. So if anybody is 6, that's the number. And also it depends how many lineups you're playing. If you're playing, a handful of lineups and you have a couple with 5, as long as it's the cheap Celtics, right? Like not 5 where it's like Robert Williams, Brogdon, Derek White, and like all of the most expensive guys together. If it's a handful of the cheap guys, I think you can make that viable in a couple lineups. 6, I would say, is absolutely not playable though.
Don't do it. Yep, I'm with you.
The next super chat that we have here is from Supak, Double OP. Nasir Little or Kuminga on FanDuel? I'm leaning Little because Kuminga only played 13 minutes the last 2 games. Before I was talking about the players I get the most exposure to when I ran FanDuel lineups, and I have more of Little than Kuminga.
I like Kuminga because there's no Andrew Wiggins. I think that's a pretty pronounced difference.
And they are actually, if I look at the lineups I have, small forward, they are the 2 that I got the most exposure to. But at least as of now, Nasir Little, as of now, as if this is going to change, Nasir Little's a little bit cheaper and $200 cheaper. I think that's probably the main reason he showed up in a little more lineups.
Yep, I have a little of Little too.
Little. Yeah, I think those are 2 of the top small forward options that we have over on FanDuel.
Agreed.
The next question here is from Clintwood83. Kind of new to NBA. What are my chances with a single entry GPP line full of value plays and then Lillard and Giannis?
Well, that's kind of what a lot of people are doing today. So if it's a small field, awesome. Like that's exactly the path to go. If it's a large field, you're going to want to find some paths. For me, I think the path off of Damian Lillard makes a little bit more sense. He is so popular today, and I get it. He has shot the ball like an absolute god amongst men. And we saw 2 or 3 years ago, it was pre-bubble. Damian Lillard went on that run where he was putting up 70 a night and he was up to like 12K. It was one of the dumber runs I can ever remember in DFS, but I think you're pretty set in knowing that it won't be that popular, to be honest. I think you can get to a lot of lineups with both of them, but if you're just playing one in a single entry, you're going to be running into a lot of duplication knowing that you're going to go Giannis and Lillard with value.
Something about this new setup for the Blazers as well. So, yeah, I mean, he's shooting a little bit over his head right now. The other thing, too, I mean, it's not like it's insanely unsustainable, though. Like, it's not like he's shooting 70% from the field or anything. And this is why, at least for today, as of now, I have Lillard as my most rostered pay-up option. You look at the current starting lineup for this team, there is no usage there. The reason he's taking so many shots is because he is now playing with guys like Nasir Little and Matisse Thybulle getting extended minutes. These are players who just don't shoot. And then Damian Lillard just like, I guess I take all of the shots now. There's only 2 usage guys, but there's 2 usage guys in the rotation now. Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons. That's it. Drew Eubanks, not a usage guy. Matisse Thybulle, Nasir Little, Shaedon Sharpe, Cam Reddish, Trendon Watford, Jabari Walker. None of these guys take shots other than Lillard or Simons. I think until players get back from injury, Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic, I think we're just looking at Lillard putting up like 35 to 40% usage at a minimum every single night.
I don't disagree entirely. Does he continue to knock everything down? Sure. There you go. Not unsustainable. Also, the weird thing for me is also looking like Josh Hart was never really a high usage guy either. It just seems as though Portland is fine surrounding Dame and Simons with nobodies. Like Nurkic's minutes trailed down. Josh Hart usage was to the floor. I believe he had like a 12 or 13% usage this season with Portland, which was pretty wild. It's just literally through those two. So yeah, if they continue to knock it down at this clip, Damian Lillard 11-1, he's at guard. We have Brogdon we want to get to, Derek White we want to get to, but there isn't like another spend up at point guard that I need to be prioritizing. Like for me, I'm getting to some Fred VanVleet. He's right around 11%. De'Aaron Fox, I'm getting to a little bit as well, but Lillard's in another stratosphere right now. So I don't completely hate it. For me, it's more of like if I'm making one lineup because of the positionality of Giannis, because I look at Porzingis with Kuzma back. I look at Siakam now that he's sharing the floor with 3 other bigs, which is just so wild to look at. Pascal Siakam playing the 3 at this point, 9,700, and then Kawhi Leonard just overprojected. There's just not anything else at power forward I'm looking at where I'm like, I would want to sacrifice Giannis in one lineup.
And the other thing is just I'm looking at Damian Lillard's numbers, and like I was saying before, I just don't really think it's that unsustainable. Like, what would you guess he's shooting from 3 this month?
Not very well. I know 2 games ago he had a triple double going 1 for 7 from 3 and put up over 60. That's the one thing that I saw this morning that was kind of like staying with me, where it's like, all right, I'm not hitting eject on Lillard by any means. I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit to myself. I have right around 35% of him in my builds, but if I'm making one lineup to try to rule them all today, I'm going to Giannis. But anyway, to answer your question, I would guess like 37%.
39, and it's so close. So he's shooting for the month where he's just had this really crazy run of fantasy production. He's shooting 49% from the field and 39% from 3. For the year, he shoots 47% from the field and 38% from 3. It's really almost identical numbers to his season averages. They're just more volume there.
Yeah.
But the long story short here, I would say this: in cash games, play Damian Lillard. I think he's the best spend up option for cash purposes.
Okay, I can get behind that one. For me, I'm just talking like he's talking about a single entry tournament. I know we focused a lot of time on it, but like for me, I think there's ways that I can get different a guard that don't have to involve Lillard on a back-to-back. That Giannis, just if I'm going to be playing as much Boston as what I plan to, is what everybody plans to tonight. I'm just finding a little bit extra utility getting to him at lower ownership.
And the tiers lineups are done running here for me. So
nice.
Tier 1, and here's where's the difference in tiers. Tier 1 is just Giannis versus Lillard, and there's no price or anything.
Oh my God.
And
I mean, can we just flip coins? Like I have them projected about identically.
It's Giannis. To me, it's Giannis if we're not considering any kind of salary.
Yeah, I have them within a fantasy point and a half, but for me, it's like, I know that Giannis is coming in with half the ownership as Lillard because of price and everything else, but in tiers, you're just talking about straight up. Like, does Giannis come in higher owned than Lillard in tiers?
I mean, it's hard to say because nobody does ownership projections for it. I would assume it's probably fairly similar.
Okay. Yeah, if it's fairly similar, I'll just take Giannis, of course. But part of me is just in the back of my mind thinking people aren't going to play Lillard in 35. Like, if it's 50-50, it would be wild to me if somehow Lillard was higher owned than Giannis, if it's just between the two of them. But yeah, you're so close in terms of projection there. It's pretty wild.
So tier 1 for me is Giannis. Tier 2, Sabonis. Tier 3, so De'Aaron Fox is the one that came out the most often. I like Devin Booker as kind of a sneaky play there for tier 3. I think Devin Booker is probably pretty close just playing full minutes today. And I think
really
his first 2 games back, he played, he didn't play full minutes. He played under 30, but 2 games ago, 5 personal fouls. Last game, the game was a blowout and he had 4 personal fouls.
Oh man, that would be wild to me if you just came back and played full minutes immediately, especially because they rested him in the middle of that back-to-back. There was a game that happened in the middle or right after the fact. And he missed Thursday on, it was so it was on the 8th. They had a back-to-back coming off of the Brooklyn game. Just because he missed an entire game on the back-to-back and only played 26 minutes there or something just, I would be very shocked if he played 36 right out of the gate. I'll throw that out.
No, but he doesn't play 36 for the season. Yeah.
Okay. Then you're saying he's going to play like 32?
Yeah, but that's more or less about what he plays for the entire season, his normal game.
Okay.
So I think he plays over 30 minutes today. That's the other thing. Like, if last game he didn't get in foul trouble and the game wasn't a blowout, I assume he would have played more minutes. He played 26 last game. If we said there was no blowout and there was no foul trouble, he's playing a few more minutes. They also now haven't played in 4 days. If we're adding more minutes than on top of the extra minutes he would have played if it wasn't for the blowout and foul trouble, I don't think it's that unreasonable to think that he gets to over 30.
Well, the reason I'm saying that, I'm just kind of getting your opinion on it because he is projected for sub 5% ownership. And in terms of spend ups, nobody is going to him at 9,400. And if there's a remote chance that he plays 35, 34 minutes, like as a like extreme outlier, you're saying he's like locked into 32 or 30, basically.
Yeah, I give him 32.
32. Yeah, I mean, that's more than we have projected here, even at 30. So, like, if you think that is kind of open for it, I'm going to give him a little bit of a boost here. And what's nice in Fantasy Cruncher is you're able to just take those minutes, make them 32, and that changes your projection based on everything. Yeah, so now I'm going to get to a little bit. I wasn't getting to any before.
And the one thing that's a little annoying is I wish he was cheaper today. Like, obviously, we'd say,
yeah, it's pretty brutal
because he's priced more expensive than he was earlier in the year when everybody was healthy. He's more expensive than he was normally playing alongside Chris Paul and whatnot. Like, he should be $1,000 less expensive, and then I would really like him as a contrarian GPP play. To me, he's just somebody who he's going to be in a couple lineups, but I wish he was a little bit cheaper because he wouldn't. If he was cheaper, it's not like he would have been popular.
What in God's green earth are we doing with Jordan Poole today at shooting guard, point guard, shooting guard?
Who did you ask about?
Jordan Poole.
So 1 sec. Let me just finish the tiers question. Then
do the tiers.
Yeah.
Tiers for fears.
Tier 4 for me, that ended up being Bradley Beal. Tier 5, Derek White. Tier 6, Robert Williams, now that he is confirmed in. So that is going to answer your question, Ace of Spade. I hope that covers all your tiers questions there. Those are the players I like the most across the different spots there. But now, sorry, who did you want to ask me about?
Well, I mean, because I'm looking at the position in general. We just talked about Devin Booker. Mm-hmm. I'm very confused what I'm supposed to do with Jordan Poole. It was a back-to-back, and something tells me that we just saw lighter minutes. They also were beating up on Washington there for a hot second, and they kind of played it easy there towards the end. But the minutes for Draymond Green and for Jordan Poole were so limited. I think it was just purely because of the back-to-back. You had some foul trouble issue for Draymond Green, but they didn't really need to bring him out at the end for anything substantial there. But I'm trying not to worry about it too much. But now with Klay Thompson still out there, Clippers matchup, under 230 total that's existing there, Kawhi and Paul out on the floor. I'm not over the moon about my Jordan Poole exposure. Right now I'm north of 20%. And I'm hoping that now with this Devin Booker situation, I'm getting to a little bit more.
Yeah, and the Poole is, to me, just he's priced appropriately at this point.
Okay,
he's $8,300 on DraftKings. We've got Poole now on FanDuel. Let me double check to see what the salary is so I don't misspeak. Yeah, and then we've got Poole on FanDuel priced up to $8,400. He's just where he should be at this point. Like, all those slates earlier were rostering to like what 5,700 with Steph Curry and everybody out. It just doesn't exist anymore, and I don't view him as the same play because they just have the price right at this point.
Okay, people are saying he was in foul trouble yesterday. I saw a little bit early or something, but I also saw him whining on the bench, and I'm not sure. With the price being up, that was kind of the main reason that I was like, I think people are going to get away quite a bit, but he's still got 10%. You're probably right. He's just about appropriate.
And now a bunch of questions to answer as far as super chats go. Cheyenne DeWald. Hey, fellas. Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, poor Peyton Pritchard today on FanDuel. Also, Greg, thanks for the assistance with the NHA promo today on Twitter. You are welcome, Cheyenne. And thank you for the question that you had asked me about it. And so Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, poor Peyton Pritchard. So of those players, how I would prioritize them, Thybulle 1, Reddish 2, Pritchard 3. Pritchard's way less of a priority on FanDuel where he's 3,900.
I like Pritchard a lot more than I like Cam Reddish.
Let's see the lineup.
Cam Reddish is 3,900. He's just, I would not play Cam Reddish on FanDuel today.
In the lineups, I didn't get to very much of Pritchard or Reddish, but I got to a little bit more Reddish. The clear priority there is Thybulle.
100%. And especially on FanDuel, because This is the wild thing about projecting. And again, this is more of like spreadsheet fun stuff. And we have this really cool channel now where it shows us when we update certain things to projections. And then I can kind of cross-reference it with my stuff. Our guys, our data team is just like second to none. They're doing unbelievable stuff. They're updating things constantly throughout the day for us. Anything we've asked of them, they've basically met and exceeded it here of late. So I want to give them a shout out because days like today, it really matters to be specific because, when you're playing 50 or 150, I got murdered yesterday, absolutely bludgeoned in DFS yesterday. But the one thing that's really fun for me is like putting together my own stuff with Matisse Thybulle and looking through some of his steal projections. The guy for the season averaged 12 minutes a game, and he still almost averaged a steal per game. Do you know how insane that is to do?
It's not easy.
One steal a game for every 12 minutes you're playing. Let's put him in for 30. That's 2.5 steals on FanDuel. Do you know how valuable that is? That's incredible stuff. So he was breaking my FanDuel shit today, and I didn't end up playing over there because I just have too much stuff to do with this into Valentine's Day, and I want to try to go to the golf tournament. And now Jordan Klein's going to the golf tournament on Thursday, aren't you? Yeah. You're going Saturday? Okay, I'm going Sunday then too. But
yeah, he was trying to make sure it wasn't the same day as you. Oh my
what
God.
A starting lineup.
This is,
by
the way, this is the dumbest starting lineup I think I've ever seen. So this is not what I was expecting at all from the Boston Celtics. Let's really quick just bang out some super chats because we have a bunch to catch up on. One other thing to add to Matisse Thybulle. Thybulle used to have these games where he would start for the Sixers where he would get there on FanDuel with like 2 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds, and like 4 steals and 4 blocks. And it'd be the dumbest games to break slates with. He's going to be doing that some going forward as well. Joe Blanco left us a super chat here. If I were to put a rule in Fantasy Cruncher that provides a maximum ownership projection per lineup, what would be a good starting point? I started with 150. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, just don't do it. It's too hard from slate to slate to make some universal rule for what you want your ownership to be. There's different also because some days the chalk is going to be good. Some days the chalk is going to be bad. If you did that yesterday, you would have basically not gotten to any of Mark Williams because he was so popular, but he was still somebody to have in your lineups. I would just recommend not doing it because some days there's going to be players that are super chalky, but are chalky for good reason. Like think last year, Jokic is out. DeMarcus Cousins is starting at center at the Flatman. He's like 80% owned, but you just kind of had to play him because of how well he projected. There's going to be spots like that with chalk. Just don't do it, Joe.
Yeah, so there are ways that you can go about doing it. I'll use the boom bust tool all the time. The best tool that we have here at Stokastic, in my lovely opinion. NBA DFS boom bust tool is outrageous, and I'll use some of that to help me make decisions, but it's more of just like, it's less cumulative ownership and it's more of like leverage purposes, making sure that I get to a couple of positively leveraged pieces on every single slate. But with late swap, especially, you don't want to like box yourself out of getting to some of the best plays later on in the day. There's just so many ways that you can screw yourself up. So as you're starting, do not do it.
Now, the question that we have next is from Noah Levinson. And I think this will be a good way to start talking about the Boston Celtics lineup as well, because Noah wants to know who are 2 players to lock and 2 players to get 2x the field on. He asked us this on Tuesday, I believe, as well. So 2 players to lock. If you had to lock 2 players right now, I don't know.
I mean, Brogdon is definitely one. Derek White is probably the other.
I would say Robert Williams. Oh, wait, no.
He's not starting.
Yeah, okay, yeah, never mind. We just got this. By the way, what do we do with... All right, so the Celtics...
I don't know, but I'm very not okay with this Robert Williams situation now. Like, is this a spot where they're like, if this game gets out of hand, we're going to punt it and go to tomorrow? Like, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that, like, Robert Williams barely plays because it is a back-to-back.
So... I have to refigure out this. I'm not going to play Robert Williams now, actually. I was just going to do it in, but I saw it was a weird starting lineup. I didn't really think about how weird it was until I actually looked at it.
Normally I'm the guy who fucks that up. So you're just fine, baby. Happy Valentine's Day.
Starting 5 for the Boston Celtics. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well, sweetheart. Derek White, Sam Hauser, Grant Williams, Mike Muscala, Blake Griffin. Dumbest starting 5. Well, I'm not going to say possibly, because if they're just resting Robert Williams, say, and using him in case of an emergency, I don't think that's unreasonable. It's just very annoying to project now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I said they're on a back-to-back, and that's what had me on kind of high alert. There's a very legitimate chance Robert Williams just doesn't play basketball today. I do think he probably still shows up. Maybe they just, maybe it's like a light workout day for him today. I don't know.
This makes me concerned about guys like Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon as well.
Well, yeah, this is a pure punt game. This makes me want to play all the Peyton Pritchard and all the land. The guy that we've been talking about this entire thing. He's normally a 0.72 fantasy point per minute guy. You can elevate that north of 8.5. You have no Jaylen Brown, no Jason Tatum out there. But like, if this game goes south, doesn't he just play 35 minutes and they punt it?
I'm leaning towards right now. I don't think I'm going to play Derek White or Robert Williams. I'm just going to take them out.
You're not going to play Derek White anymore, period.
Nope. I'm just going to take him out. Taking him out.
Okay.
I'm still going to play Malcolm Brogdon. I don't feel great about it though.
I'm saying this is just wild. Can you blame them though? They play Detroit tomorrow. Like, you might as well just win one of two. Like, even if you had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they would be dogs in this game. So like, now it just makes all the sense and all the land to punt it completely. Save up as many guys as you can for tomorrow. Like, I think Luke Cornett is interesting now. He's a flat 3K. I think coming off the bench, if we just look at this as like they're punting the game entirely and Derek White and Robert Williams are barely going to play, Pritchard and Cornett have to play a shit ton of basketball tonight. They just do.
Yeah, I'm just going to build lineups assuming the Celtics are punting.
I mean, also Blake Griffin's in play now, like very much in play, because if you're punting a game and you're not worried about the health of anybody, Blake Griffin played 23 minutes on December 13th. Like, he could play 25 minutes. He's a flat 3K. Nobody's out there. Performs at a 0.8 fantasy point per minute level. Like, I don't like it, but I think he's actually viable.
Yeah, I could very much be on the wrong side of this. But like, how do you reasonably, here's going to be my logic. I don't know what the Celtics are going to do today.
Michael Knack, Pritchard sucks. We just had that conversation. He's been horrendous. You missed the beginning of the show, obviously. He is horrendous at basketball. He might end up being my highest owned player on this slate today.
So the Celtics thing, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think anybody could confidently say they know what the Celtics are going to do.
No idea.
But I know the field is going to play a lot of them.
Yep.
Right. So if I'm building my lineups out right now, which I just did, I took Derek White out. I took Robert Williams out. I still have them playing minutes though. Right. I just took them out of play though for myself.
Do we have any precedents for this? Is there a game we can point to here in the last month or two where this has been somewhat similar? Like, we always have Tatum or Brown or Horford. Like, I don't think we've had this thin of a construction for Boston all season long, which is why it's hard to have like any precedents for this. My main thing is like, with this starting unit, is there an opportunity for them to be like, we're going to bring White and Robert Williams in together at, this mark, and then we're going to take Brogdon off, and they're just going to like stagger White, Brogdon the whole way, Williams, and I mean, that's the weird thing that just doesn't make any sense to me. They're not actively trying to win this basketball game.
No. And once again, I don't know what they're going to do. If they just go, if we get to like the 5-minute mark and Brogdon checks in and Robert Williams checks in, it wouldn't shock me, but I think the field is going to be playing those guys already. So I'm just going to pivot. So to answer the question here that Noah Levinson asked, he wants to know, 2 players to lock, 2 players to be over the field too. To me, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser as the players that I'll call locks right now. Grant Williams and Blake Griffin, the guys to be 2x the field on.
All right, so let's play this game. Let's play this game. Let's take Derek White. So for the sake of an exercise, because this could win you a GPP kind of a thing. Let's just take Robert Williams off the floor. Let's take Derek White off the floor. What do the minutes look like?
I mean, it basically becomes what my lineups are though. But the other thing too is, so because I reran lineups right now and did it like in a really janky way, because there's no way to accurately project the Celtics minutes right now. Right. It's a total crapshoot.
Yeah. But that's what we're going to try to do.
So I still ended up with 25% of Malcolm Brogdon. So still got to some of him.
So you're way under on Malcolm Brogdon.
So what's that?
You're way under on Brogdon still.
Yes.
Because White is out there. So yeah. Malcolm Brogdon coming off the bench. Again, Derek White.
But I think there isn't, to me at least, there's not a logical scenario where Brogdon plays 36 minutes, but like Robert Williams rests.
Yeah. I was looking at that incorrectly, by the way. I was updating my stuff and I had Brogdon and White switched. It's White, Hauser, Grant Williams, Muscala, Griffin. There we go. All right. Better.
My lineups are going to be so terrible or so good today. Like more likely bad that it's going to be bad than good, but like there's not a middle ground at this point.
No. Not if you're just taking Brogdon out of your pool, Robert Williams out of your pool.
Well, I'm not taking Brogdon out. I am taking Robert Williams and Derek White out, though.
Okay. Yeah, because Brogdon's come off the bench enough times that...
By the way, I wouldn't play cash games today. Fuck that. That's total nonsense today. That, like, if you're going to a cash game, be like, here's the safe lineup today. I mean, no, just no chance.
Oh, man. Remember yesterday? Well, actually, we're not going to even go. We're not going to talk about he who must not be named, also known as Jalen Suggs, who I only ended up with 3% of. Again, stay around for the show. 88% Jose Alvarado. How did that not work out for me? How?
Because so I also it was we got some super chats I want to answer too. When you and I were texting back and forth, I had said I don't like their rotation like early on because Alvarado played well. Also, he did end up getting in foul trouble in the second half, but even before then. But him and Ingram each played like 7 minutes in the first quarter, then didn't check back in until like past the midway point of the second quarter. I was like, these minutes aren't going to go well. But some super chats now.
I had 58% Josh Richardson. That was good.
Richardson was good. All with defensive stats. So
it was incredible. 48,000 steals.
Hippopotamus. If I hear Greg could play 8 from the same team on DK, are the rumors true? Yeah, they keep telling me I'm allowed to play more players from the same team. And I tell support, my VIP guy, when I text him, I don't want to play 8 players from the same team. He's like, you want to play 10? Like, that's more than are allowed in a single lineup. So they keep trying to give me these perks. I'm like, but this is not something that is even going to help me win DFS. But yes, it's true, Hippo. It is true.
Man,
the next question here is from the Thunder. He wants to know best 3 prize picks plays. Eric, do you have 3 prize picks plays that you really like?
I do. I'm obsessed with Ivica Zubats, less than 9.5 rebounds today. They made a move for Mason Plumlee. I don't know what those minutes look like, but it's a matchup against Golden State where routinely Kevon Looney has not been on the floor a whole lot when the Clippers go small. And now it's not just the concern of them going small for Zubats, but it's also Mason Plumlee, a serviceable offensive center, somebody who's a very underrated good passer, averages nearly 3 more assists per game as a starting center for Charlotte as what Zubats did. Obviously different circumstances, but the fact remains he could do it in Denver. He did it there. Time and time again, Mason Plumlee's a better passer of the basketball than you think. So I do think that there are some concerns where they could go to a hot hand approach going forward, in Mason Plumlee being a new acquisition, the new shiny toy, as well as them going small. So 9.5 rebounds. That is a massive, massive number considering he averages 10.2. And there are a lot of question marks going around Zubats now.
A lot of question marks around everything on this slate. And
yeah.
By the way, it's official. Just so people, I am not going back on this. Robert Williams and Derek White will be in 0 of my lineups today.
Wait, Derek White, who's starting?
Yeah, I said that before. I think he's just gonna play limited minutes.
Oh my God. I have 25% of him, so I'm doing that.
Field,
Brogdon, how much did you get to a Brogdon?
25%.
Oh my God, you're a sick person. Are you just playing 100% Peyton Pritchard then?
Yes, he's in all of my lineups.
Yeah, that's so I'm considering that. I put him in for 34 minutes and I got 100% of him. I think it's just pretty funny to see,
here's my lineups right now are just
I've Pritchard projected for 32 fantasy points.
My lineups are all of the shittiest players the Celtics employ. And then like Damian Lillard, DeMontis Sabonis, and Giannis.
How much Luke Cornett did you get to?
It's still hard to get to a significant amount.
I have 4% Luke Cornett.
Well, whatever. Blake Griffin's going to be my guy.
Whatever. Fuck you too. Merry Christmas. Happy Valentine's Day. Grant Williams. Yeah. I mean, they have to have Grant Williams and Sam Hauser out there, right? Just because they're humans who play wings. What are they going to do? Just play Cornett, Griffin, and they're so shorthanded. I need to get more Cornett. No, I don't. Nobody's ever said that in their lives.
No, but well, back in the day, remember when he was a chalk piece for the Knicks and he was crushing it during
those were some dark times in my life. Just have this little string bean white boy out there knocking down shots all day long. It was horrible. I hated it.
Joe Blanco wants to know, do you have a minimum number of Celtics per lineup? I didn't set a minimum number, but I have at least 2 in all of my lineups.
How much Hauser did you get to?
He is my second most rostered player behind Peyton Pritchard.
Oh my God. We're just going all in on Hauser and Peyton Pritchard. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm just telling what I'm doing. If people think I'm an idiot, I might be.
Let's do one more time. There are only the 2 games that lock. We have Orlando, Toronto, and I think the plays that make sense from Orlando, Toronto, like they're very, very obvious. Boston, Milwaukee. So who are your 100%? We both have nearly 100% Peyton Pritchard at this point.
Yeah, I do have 100%.
Okay, I have 94. But Sam Hauser, how much should you get to?
Sam Hauser is in all but one of my lineups. I have 20 lineups today, by the way. But it's also, if I'm playing to 50, assume, but like, if I'm going to assume that Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon both play limited minutes and Robert Williams isn't in the rotation, there's no other way for that to look.
Grant Williams
is in a little more than half my lineups.
Mike Muscala.
Like Mike Muscala and Luke Cornett minimal. I'm playing more of Blake Griffin. I could change that.
Has there ever been a worse sentence that you've ever said in your entire life than I'm playing more Blake Griffin?
I mean, he's starting.
I know. It's just when you say it, it just sounds insane, but like it's correct.
I mean, it probably isn't, but it might be. We'll see.
Oh my God. It probably isn't, but it might be. Welcome to Live Before Lock, everybody. This is the wildest slate that I can remember in a long time. And Jordan Klein left the building. He's no longer with us.
Super chats. We have to get through.
Oh, yeah. Go. Just fly.
My filler arc. Fudge this. I'm fading Jan. That is not even close to how you spell Giannis. He spelled Gainesse.
It's not very nice. Put some respect on the name. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Ace of Spade, who is tier 6 for us now that Robert Williams isn't starting? Good question. Let me pull that back up.
My God, I have so much Jakob Poeltl. What the hell?
Let me pull up the tier 6 now that Robert Williams is not there. Who else? And I'm going to answer the next super chat while I look for that. Actually, was that the last one there? Ace of Spade, my filler arc. We got this is the only one. That's the only other one left to answer. So tier 6. By the way, half the players in this tier are out tonight. Marcus Smart, Gary Trent, Robert Williams. The one I've projected next best is Franz Wagner.
It's going to be fun.
So Franz Wagner for tier 6, Ace of Spade. Let me just make sure that there was no more super chats. Looks like we have all of those. And now in our Discord channel, bang out some of these. By the way, if you guys sign up at Prize, the time goes so fast sometimes here. Once again, Prize Picks. Here's some really easy ways to just get access to all the tools we have at Stokastic.com. Sign up at Prize Picks. Use our link. You're going to get 1 free month in addition to the $100 deposit bonus. But there's a good chance like you, like myself, might be in a state that doesn't have Prize Picks. If that is the case right now, we have 50% off any package when you sign up for the first time using the link that we have below. Anything you want it to be. NBA package, a platinum package that includes all of the sports, our lineup generator package, which for less than $10, it is going to help you build lineups for just making them for you. Plus EV lineups with all of our projections in there, updated in real time. So that is something you guys get to less than $10 plus the 50% off. You want to check that out. I think that's the best package we have for a starting point if you are a newer DFS player. But anything you want, 50% off when you sign up for the first time. And let's see. Any other, something else I'm going to do in the post-lock show, because we get that little bit of a buffer time between when sports books take down their lines and when the DFS late locks, because sports books are actually locking their games when the games start. I want to look at some of the lines for the Celtics players and see what kind of dumb shit I could bet on there as well.
Oh, right? I like to party. I like to party. We can do it on Prize Picks too. There's some lines that are interesting to short.
I might be looking like alternate unders for Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh, talk to me dirty. Let's go.
Oh, we got plenty of time. It's Valentine's Day. We got plenty of time for that.
I know.
We've got all night. Really quickly bang out some of these Discord questions now. Ernie P. Boston not having Tatum, Brown, Horford against the healthy Bucks has to be at least a 12+ point spread. Is the 9-point spread lagging behind? What is the spread now? Has it changed?
I don't know, but all I did last night, I played Milwaukee and Clippers money line. I don't think the Clippers one. I don't feel as good about it because I thought I was going to get some pieces that rested, but Andrew Wiggins getting ruled out, that was a definite plus.
I'd rather bet the player props in that game than the spread.
Yes,
the other thing I think is going to make
point.
sense that we're going to talk about in a little bit. I think that it makes sense to parlay some of the unders of those players together because it's correlated. It's correlated. If we see, Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, like if one of them play limited minutes, I assume all of them play limited minutes, and I like that game correlating.
Yeah. Did I get to any with 5 in the grand scheme of things? Nope. I got
question
0.
Is from Sir George Peelsworth. Thoughts on Poole for FanDuel GPP? I think there's better guards to get to.
Probably
have
at
him in
this
a lineup.
point, yeah.
It's not the end of the world. He's just fairly priced though.
On FanDuel though, he is 8,400. Yeah. He's positively leveraged. That's what I'm getting at. Give me a little bit of Poole in tournaments, but not for one lineup. One question.
A question here from Mr. Sledge to you: Cornet or Thibault at 5? It's still Thibault over Cornet.
Yeah, Thibault.
FanDuel single entry: Fred VanVleet and Suggs, or a Kogi and Giroux? Fred VanVleet and Suggs.
First one, yeah.
Dr. 2-inch favorite contrarian spend up option for a DK large field. I don't have to worry about being contrarian up to spend ups because I don't need my entire lineups to be contrarian. I'm contrarian enough with the cheap guys.
Yeah, no, we did some weird things. I have 48 of my 50 lineups have Peyton Pritchard. What a time to be alive.
If I'd say my favorite contrarian spend up though, I don't even have one at this point.
I'm just getting to a smattering of guys. The one I have the most exposure to is Pascal Siakam that just locked.
Well, not quite yet because the games haven't started. Well, still got about 30 seconds.
Thanks. I'm just saying.
Time here. But react to it now it's locked. Now we're officially at lock. So if you guys haven't done it yet, do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and stick around because we are going to have for the next 30 minutes. Eric and I are going to stick around. We're going to be reacting to whatever dumb shit happens in the Celtics Bucks game. Am I on the right side of it? Probably not. Am I on the wrong side of it? Most likely, but we'll find out in real time. And then also, there are some props still up for this, which I'm pulling up right now. I want to look at some of the alternate.
All I was trying to do was, hang on. Prize picks, 19.5 points plus rebounds plus assists for Robert Williams. Is it even worth it to take less on it? Because if he doesn't play, it gets voided.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it.
I'm not going to because that's a low number if he plays.
Yeah. What do we have for what is Peyton Pritchard's alternate lines here? Do I really want to bet?
I think you do. I'm very excited for this. I'm going to DK as well.
Yeah, let me see what they are on draft. The problem is it's 2-1 for him to score 13 or more points. That's not enough.
All right. So on prize picks, we have 36.5 fantasy score for Derek White.
I would take the under on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So we're putting a card together. Let's do it. Putting a card together now. Birds of a feather now. Paul George Taco. Oh, what a time to be alive. We're going to add that to the mix too.
So let me pull up our projections as well. And by the way, we still have the Celtics Bucks game is not locked on FanDuel or DraftKings. The way they do these national TV games, they just leave it open until it tips.
Yeah. So we'll just pull that up. I was going to do some ownership too and take a look and see in the big jam what we're looking at here. Pritchard is only. Oh, I want you to guess what the ownership is on Pritchard here.
Is he going to end up being popular?
I just want you to guess.
20%.
22. You ended up higher owned than I thought.
Okay. Still though, that's nothing.
We had him for
I'm-
29.2%. I'm so happy that he didn't end up as popular as our projections. That is Yahtzee.
Here's what I'm really curious about, though.
Mhm.
What is the ownership on guys like Robert Williams? Like Robert Williams to me is the of all the players on the Celtics, the one who's most live to play 0 minutes other than guys who are just ruled out is Robert Williams.
Well, I should be able to find him. I don't have him in any of my lineups, but I should be able to find one pretty quickly here.
Now.
Yep, go ahead. I'm going to find it.
I'm going to download lineups from the $10 on DK. I
have
bet
a little
Derek
iPad
White for
going.
under 31.5 points plus rebounds plus assists for
All
anybody.
right, I'm gonna join that on Prize Picks.
All right. Looking.
Oh, did that game just start already? Yep, it started. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it did because I already see somebody's negative fantasy points.
Oh yeah, Giannis. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Might as well be the guy that, Blake Griffin, steal. Why not?
Which contest should I check the ownership for? Do we want to do it for the $10?
Yeah, please.
We don't usually have the $10 as an option.
We do now.
Download.
Oh my God. Robert Williams. Guess the ownership.
Hopefully high.
I'm just going to let you see it.
Right. Got the CSV opening right now. Unzipping the file. Is it going to be a really high number that's going to make me happy?
I don't think it's going to make you as happy as what you think.
Still loading.
Mm-hmm.
Opening. My computer's so slow.
This is good television. This is great.
So here's the one issue with because I have the two computers that do the show with. I have the one which is my Mac, which is the one directly in front of me, and then I have the camera my computer actually stream from, which is significantly faster. But here we go. It's all open now.
6.9%. Nobody played Robert Williams is what I'm getting at.
That's a bummer. I thought he was going to be really popular still.
That was in the 3. Sorry, let me find
the $10. He's 5.5% owned.
Yep,
which
lower.
Just slightly sharper field. Here's what we have: Grant Williams 47% owned, Derek White 40, Malcolm Brogdon 37.5, Sam Hauser 33.6. Markelle Fultz ended up being 27% owned. That's a lot of Markelle Fultz.
He got steamed up throughout the day.
So I'm really happy I have a bunch of Blake Griffin now. Griffin's 7% owned.
Blake Griffin 7% owned. Yeah, he was pretty low owned pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, 7% for Blake Griffin relative to Muscala being 21% owned.
I got 15% was the final number.
Who's off to
Blake Griffin for 3.
Off to a good start. Blake Griffin 3 points, 2 assists.
Mike Muscala and the assist there. Oh my God, this is gonna be luscious. Also Giannis 4, 2, and 1. Hello, let's just go Blake Griffin, Giannis for all the money.
Rooting for all of the dumbest possible outcomes today.
I mean, we have some really absurd lineups. Charge on Giannis. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Charge.
What are you guys rooting for in the chat here? Did you guys end up playing dumb Celtics players like we did? Or did you play normal players?
This slate doesn't start till Peyton Pritchard gets his ass on that court for 35 minutes, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go. What, Jordan Klein? Caught a vibe. Baby, I'm hanging with Jordan Klein. Let's go.
And let's see. Yeah, so the guy right now who is when do we start tilting Sam Hauser? He's got 0 points.
Now, immediately.
This is not when other people play Sam Hauser, he scores like 30 fantasy points.
Yeah, when people lock button Sam Hauser on 10-game slates, he goes for infinity fantasy points. But no, we can't get that.
Lippy, Eric Johnson. I know you're in chat right now. You always are. Let me know how much Sam Hauser you played today. I need to know these things.
How's your father?
Yeah, I need to know. I need to know what you did with Sam Hauser. Let's try to find some more bets to get to here. And I know somebody in chat said the lines are down now. Yeah, because the game has started. But there was like that couple minutes we're able to get to some of the guys there. But let's look at our projections and how the Prize Picks props are looking relative to that. So if you guys haven't signed up for NBA Bet Pro, we do have a week free trial that you guys can get access to by clicking on the link below. Everything is always the link below. Does it get annoying that I always say that? Because I don't really know how else to explain where to click.
Nope.
All right. Link below. 1 free week of NBA Bet Pro. Try it out. Just come and try it out. We've got projections for everything here. Doesn't matter where it is that you're playing, whether it's Prize Picks, No House Advantage, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesars, all of it. We've got it in NBA Bet Pro. It's player projections. And then also it is our percentage odds of them to go over or under, projected EVs, all stuff that is really valuable. Prize Picks. What do we have popping up here?
Going to.
I'm trying to remember which ones you said you did and didn't. What
I love Zubats. Less than 9.5 rebounds. That is on the card. They took the. I didn't even get that full card in on the under 31.5 for Mr. Derek White. That was sad because the game locked immediately. You're just talking about all this time that we were going to have, and we had 2 minutes.
Hey, that's an eternity sometimes. When I was already logged into my accounts, I was able to pull it up. But yeah, I know in the grand scheme of things, isn't that much.
Oh,
here's some Prize Picks numbers we have that project well for us that make sense to me. Jakob Poeltl over 7 rebounds.
Love it.
So
that game locks also in a minute and a half for the people. So go.
Mm-hmm.
He's at 7 rebounds on Prize Picks today.
So Poeltl hasn't played big minutes yet with the Raptors. He's going to, though. You know how I know he's going to? Because I've seen how Nick Nurse runs his rotations. Where the problem with Jakob Poeltl to this point has been, number one, he came off the bench for his first game with the team. Subsequent games after that, fouled like it was nobody's business. Just immediate fouling from Jakob.
Foul like nobody's watching.
And like he's a foul-prone player. He's somebody who fouls, but he's a really good pointsman and fantasy producer. And
Jordan. Yeah, you guys have to deal with me every day. This is absurd.
Yeah, and by choice too. Hang out with you even after.
I know. It makes so sense.
This is like
foul like nobody's watching.
This is a very tame day for you as well. Not even.
Oh, thank you. I was very focused. I have money involved, very much so. So, yeah, we would like to make money on this Valentine's Day because I don't know, flowers and gifts and sushi and all the things.
Dude, bro, chill.
Oh, I should actually order that. I got to text my wife quick. So go ahead, continue.
So I was going to say Jakob Poeltl, the 7 rebounds, and I think there's a massive upside in the minutes for Jakob Poeltl. We just haven't seen it yet to this point because of the foul trouble. He's going to have a game where he avoids foul trouble and it's be like, oh my God, Poeltl played 38 minutes, and then he's going to be massively chalky the next day in DFS. Guarantee that's going to happen in the coming slates. What kind of sushi you ordering?
Sugarfish. It's our tradition.
From the mall?
Yeah, from the mall. No, it's fucking great sushi. Jordan Klein's actually jealous. Look at him. I get to hang out with Duke.
I'll tell you, the best place you guys could order sushi from, a mall nowhere near a body of water.
Honestly, in LA, kind of true. You go down to K-Town, you go downtown LA, there are some bomb spots that are hole in the wall sushi joints, and they're like the best sushi you've ever had in your life.
Yeah, I don't mess with sushi. It seems gross and slimy to me. Not for me. But there's
sicko. It's so good.
The reason
That seems bad.
Are we being canceled?
Oh, it looks like we're good.
Are we good? Okay. Well,
refresh, and then hit that like button.
Well, either way, I'm not for sushi at a mall or anywhere else. Not something I'm going to be eating. Give me
Eric's face frozen in hilarious fashion. Weird. My face is never to anything funny.
So if this actually is this happened the other day. Am I frozen, Jordan?
No, you're fine.
Okay. So the other day I was doing a show with Neil and I could hear him. He looked fine in Zoom, but when we were doing the show, he was frozen on it, even though you could hear him. So I thought it was that happening again.
What a great story. Can you tell it again?
Well, I'm making sure it didn't happen. Because if I'm frozen, then we have to
cancel. No, can you tell me the story one more time? It was so intriguing.
I will do it if you make me.
Go ahead, do it one more time for the people.
Neil got frozen on a show.
Oh my God. No way. What?
Is the stream's working though? We're good?
Yeah, we're fine.
All right.
Grant Williams for 3. Celtics up 5-0 because why wouldn't they be? This is so good for our lineups, or also probably bad for you if Derek White is a full fade for you.
Yeah, I have 0. How much of Derek White and Brogdon did you play?
How much Derek White and Brogdon did I play? I will pull it up here. I know I had some Derek White. I didn't I know I'm under. I got to 25% Derek White, and I got to 22.5% Malcolm Brogdon.
There we go. By the way,
Again, played 50 lineups, so pretty easy to do them.
The big guy for me right now is Blake Griffin. I want Blake Griffin to keep it going.
Mike Muscala, that's my dude.
If Derek White,
48% Muscala.
Yeah, he's also chalky today, though.
What did he end up?
I
got to 45% of him finally. That was the final number.
I mean, he's 21%.
Okay, I'm double the field.
Yeah. Hey, I've got half my lineups of 7% on Blake Griffin.
All I know is that I have all the Giannis too, because people are like, oh, he's 12-7. I can't play him. He's got 7-3-2, and he was very easy to get to. Muscala for 3. Let's go. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So freaking, he's nasty, Pato. 10 points already for Mike Muscala. 2 threes. Hello.
10 real life points.
10 real life. We're talking.
Look at this guy.
Muscala or close your laptop.
Or Blake Griffin.
The double center combo. Oh shit! Did I keep that? No, I had to have taken that. It didn't matter. It was Robert Williams. Thank God. Okay. I forgot to go to my rules. I forgot that I actually set rules today.
Will Robert Williams play a single minute today?
I think he's live to not, which is why I didn't take the under. Because again, there's no inherent I would want to short it, but 19.5 is a pretty low number if he plays 20 minutes, where it's I don't feel all that enthusiastic being below it. I think if this game's competitive, they probably give him some kind of run here. Unless they're just going to bubble wrap him and play him tomorrow against Detroit and let him just wreak havoc on Isaiah Stewart and James Wiseman, who will be starting for the Pistons tomorrow. That'll be a fun one.
Well, we're going to find out shortly, because there's going to be a TV commercial coming out. And then we are probably going to find it's either going to be Luke Cornett or Robert Williams checking in for Blake Griffin. And then we'll know. If Luke Cornett is the next man to check in for the Celtics, then Robert Williams is not playing today.
Muscala faders repent. That's all I know.
Well, what about Derek White faders like myself?
I don't know. Muscala's got 12.25. Derek White, I don't think is doing much. He's not in any of my.
He's the highest scorer on the slate, isn't he?
Derek White is? Oh, yeah, he's at 13.25. Yeah. And I'm below the field too, so that hurts. Eric is a real life nut. Thanks, Polo612. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. With a broken heart emoji.
I like over on Prize Picks. Ones that project well for us as well. Terrence Davis over 1.5 threes.
All in.
That is one we've projected. So something else too. Terrence Davis, because I was one that I was looking at earlier in the day. I think I saw DraftKings has minus 130 on the over. You don't have to get any kind of juice like that on Prize Picks. So over 1.5 threes looks good. Another one too. Mo Wagner under 10.5 points. The markets are fairly high on Mo Wagner today, and I don't think he has to play a ton of minutes.
Well, that game started, so pretty tough to do anything with it now.
Let's see. I've not looked at that game. Never mind.
Yeah.
Mo Wagner has not checked in yet. What's going on? Markelle Fultz is off to a good start.
Of course
4 points,
is.
a rebound, and assist, and a steal.
I love that, man.
Markelle Fultz.
Love that,
On
man.
the other side of the game, hey, Jakob Poeltl, no rebounds, but he does have 4 points and an assist.
Poeltl. He has 6 points now, just another bucket.
Yep, 6 points. If Jakob Poeltl doesn't get in foul trouble today, he's going to be 50% owned on the next slate or something.
Pritchard checks in immediately, gets a foul in 10 seconds. Awesome.
Who did he check in for?
Checked in for, there were 2 guys came in. Luke Cornett came in and Pritchard came in. And Brogdon came in all at the same time for, who would it be? White came off. Muscala came off.
So
and
Robert Williams is a
Griffin
DNP
came off.
today.
I think so. I have
Robert
0%.
Yeah,
I can't
Robert
believe the
Williams.
field got all the way down to 6%. This is a dude who is pulling over 20%. That's a little scary to me that everybody was able to react and hit eject on that.
Yeah, Robert Williams, no ownership on him.
It's a little freaky.
I mean, not really.
Beat up on the books instead.
But the other thing too is, we can't regret not betting the unders on Robert Williams. He's going to be a DNP and they're all going to get voided.
I know. That's why I said I couldn't even do it. It was brutal.
So the five in right now for the Celtics, it is Pritchard, Brogdon, Grant Williams, Mike Muscala, and Luke Cornett.
Unreal.
Hopefully nobody in chat played Time Lord. Hopefully also, at least for me, I'm hoping we get like 24 minutes out of Derek White today.
That would be great. It'd be great.
The way that happens, most likely though, at this point, also just be
game blows out. Yeah, I'm so here for a blowout at this point, especially now that I pretty much got my Muscala performance already. He's still in the game. Grant Williams, really good start as well. I ended up pretty high on him. I just didn't know who else could play any kind of wing minutes besides Grant Williams and Sam Hauser. So there you go. Luke Cornett also, I played a lot more of than you did. And then Peyton Pritchard, we're both basically all in on. That's going to be real fun sweat.
Yeah. My main rooting interest is Blake Griffin tonight. So we'll see how that ends.
Oh, normal. Totally. And Terrence Davis, I have a ton of too today.
Okay.
But we didn't even talk about any other spot because it was hard to talk about any other spot. But Terrence Davis, the human heat check, he played 32 minutes. And anytime Terrence Davis plays a lot of minutes, I've just been jamming him in all of these spots constantly. I feel like out of anybody that I have rapport with, I feel like Terrence Davis has never let me down. I know he probably has, but like I've won a lot of GPPs in my life with Terrence Davis, and I'm just going to keep running into this situation where like shooting guard, small forward eligibility, 4,500, nobody clicks on it, comes off the bench, 10%. Could end up a little bit lower with how many people want to play Matisse Thybulle at the min. Like, I just love Terrence Davis for tournaments today.
I like the over on his props mentioned before. We've got the prop on Prize Picks for over 1.5 threes is one of our best projected props of the day. And let me refresh this and see just for other sports books where his current prop line is, because it was also one that projected fairly well earlier, but I don't know if the line moved over the course of us being on the show. So for anybody like myself who is not able to play on Prize Picks because they don't operate in New Jersey, here are some of our other highest projected props today. Over 1.5 threes for Terrence Davis. That's available at FanDuel. Has the best line right now. Love getting to that one.
Love.
On DraftKings, over 3.5 rebounds for Terrence Davis is plus 120.
Oh my God.
Also projects really well for us.
Give me all of that you got in a bag of potato chips.
There we go. Is that like your go-to snack food?
It sounds good right now, but I'm getting sushi because, again, I don't know if anybody knows this, but Valentine's Day is not about the dudes. It's just not. Facts.
Didn't see this coming. Robert Williams is in right now. Luke Cornett is out. Time Lord's in.
There you go. Well, guess what? At 6K, he's still got to play a lot more than what we think we do. Peyton Pritchard for 3. He's on the board. Thank you, Jesus Christ.
So Pritchard's on the board. So Robert Williams checking in though does make me feel less good about Derek White minutes and Blake Griffin and these other goofballs that I played a bunch of.
That sucks because Prize Picks is a print fest if you know what you're doing. It sure is. My last year was just awesome. Cannot tell you. Just wait for MLB people. The strikeout props and the home run props, especially if they have home run trios back, we are in business. Tell them we're back up. Go tell everybody we're back up.
Back up. Eric told me to tell you guys that we're back up.
We're back up, baby.
Are there any ways that you correlate NBA on Prize Picks the same way you do for baseball or other sports? Yeah,
I talked about it multiple times now on this show, and Sean's on as well was DMing us the other day. One of the best sports bettors, DFS players on planet Earth. Very, very good at all of the data things, and talked about putting correlated props together. And that's something I've talked about constantly, where if there's a piece of pending injury news, if you're able to get ahead of that, like right when it drops, it's a lot easier to get in on Prize Picks and be able to pull it off than it is at traditional sports books, where they have gotten very, very quick at it. So on Prize Picks, I'll have it preloaded because you can have that betting card just sitting there, and I will hit click when that news comes out. And usually you're getting some really positive props where like the fantasy score can be like your all-encompassing thing. And if it's something that already is about a point or two too low, and then you get a massive piece of news that somebody gets ruled out, you are sitting so good. Plus, when it's 25x for a 6-player payout, 6% of games go to overtime in the NBA. That's roughly the number. So 1 in 20, just a little bit better than 1 in 20. You run into that, you're getting paid 25x on those overtimes, and it's very difficult too when because you have to add in the number of times you go 5 out of 6, which would 2x your money, and then the number of times you go 4 out of 6, which you get 0.4% of your money, or 0.4x of your money back. So 40% of your money comes back. So there's ways to make money that isn't just going 6 for 6 in the meantime of getting money back. So like there's less risk than even that 1 in 20 in order to hit 25x by correlating your props. So a lot of times I'll take overs, waiting on injury news, and then slam it.
One thing that's amazing, if baseball comes up, if somebody posts about Aaron Judge in the YouTube chat, doesn't matter the time of day, it doesn't matter when Gundaker appears immediately. Always, instantly. It's one of the more amazing, like, I don't know what it is with Gundaker where he just has like this Judge radar on him. But right here, we've got DM Brian 07 says home run trio, Judge, and at Eric Lindquist, so much prize picks money. And immediately Gundaker within
unreal.
A tenth of a second over at DM Brian 00.
It was
posted about.
So last year, the two things that I did the most, I've got to. So I haven't gone through my entire spreadsheet. I'm waiting for them to send the 1099 first and then put it all together because I've got it from everything else. But prize picks usually is a little bit slower with it. But I had my tracker going. I think it was something, I know it was 5 figures, but Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt. I would play Paul Goldschmidt against a lefty in a home run trio, and you had Arenado coming along for the ride, and then Aaron Judge along with it. And I think I had something like a 350% ROI playing those two together in home run trios. I'll go back and check because I haven't looked at my MLB stuff for a while, but it was something absolutely absurd. The summer last year when they introduced home run trio, and then you could just summer months, St. Louis, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado wasn't as good as what you would hope last year, but Paul Goldschmidt against lefties with Aaron Judge was an absolute print fest in the home run trios.
You had the nerve to tell me that my story about Neil's video going out wasn't interesting, and then you told that 7.
Yeah, but I made money in the process,
MLB
and that's what we're here to do.
Oh my God. All right, everybody tail Eric on his prize picks MLB bets tomorrow. Go tail him on prize picks MLB.
STL in Philadelphia. Yes, Kyle Schwarber, EMAC. EMAC and I would go back and forth with the Kyle Schwarber. Oh, you get 5 at bats for Kyle Schwarber against a righty. It was just asinine how much money we made on that last year. Cool story, Hansel. Cool story.
Celtics still leading. Celtics, I love it. 30-27 right now. I want this game to be a blowout.
I don't either.
We just had Sam Hauser check in. Muscala is out now. Brogdon is on the board. Just shot a couple of free throws. So right now the 5 men in. By the way, Grant Williams is not checked out yet. He has 3 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and he has played
triple-double watch.
Yep, he's played 10.5.
Could you imagine if Grant Williams triple doubles in this spot? He's asking for $20 million a year. He's saying, I want Keldon Johnson money. I matter this much. It's like, dude. Chill.
Here's a fun game. All right, here's what we're going to finish with. If the game is a blowout, who are the 5 men on the court for the Boston Celtics?
Let me see. If there's a blowout, Robert Williams. Oh, if it's a blowout,
yes.
Luke Cornett. For sure. Common Geely probably plays the 5. Davison probably plays we're talking like the last 4 minutes and they're down 30. Davison probably comes in.
The last 8 minutes, even if they're down 30.
Yeah, he probably could. And then Sam Hauser probably stays out there. And somebody's got to handle the ball. I'll just go with Brogdon as well.
Really? I think Pritchard would play over.
Oh, Pritchard. Sorry. I forgot about Pritchard. Yeah, he's a lock to be closing lineup.
Yeah, I go Pritchard, Davidson. I'll go Pritchard, Hauser, Davidson, Cabangeli, and Luke Cornett.
Yep, that's the same 5. Yep.
There we go. What a 5-man unit that would
be. That is awfully OKC starting 5-esque from last year.
It would be. I think half of those guys did start for. I like it's funny where it's like, is Mike Muscala too good to play in garbage time for this team right now? Might not matter. Celtics up 5 points, 32-27. Did Jordan just leave?
Glad. we didn't take that Robert Williams under. He's got 4 and 3. Fuck our lives.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to play a ton though.
I think his playing time is completely dependent on how close this game is. They could just be like, oh my God, we have a chance to beat Milwaukee and then play him tons. And then in the event that it's not close at the end, they'll just be like, all right, we play Detroit tomorrow. He needs to murder, play him 18 minutes.
Some of the results from the Raptors Magic game, because we haven't talked about that a whole bunch. Markelle Fultz is up to 7 points, a rebound, 2 assists, and a steal. Fultz is absolutely crushing in the first quarter of that game. Nobody else really doing all that much from the Magic. From the Raptors side of the game, Siakam is 7 points and 2 rebounds. Scotty Barnes, 4 points, 4 assists. And there it is. Jakob Poeltl, no foul trouble yet. 8 points, a rebound, and an assist in 8 minutes.
Let's go.
Yeah. Did you play any of Poeltl?
I played tons of him. I talked about him right at the very end, 28%.
Nice. Yeah, he's off to a good start there.
Yeah, he was one of our top plays in the boom bust tool at the time when I uploaded.
There we go. I dig it. Couple minutes left here. Anything you have your eye on for the later games that we should look to potentially swap based on?
Yeah, who's going to start for Andrew Wiggins? I'm pretty sure we're going to get some Kuminga. There's just some interesting lineup iterations where it could come out as such. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot for it. Portland, I assume we're getting the same starting 5. So Matisse Thybulle, as long as he's sharp, starting there. I was saying Shaedon Sharpe is somebody that I'm just going to like find a case to get to a little bit more of. But coming up later, I mean, Terrence Davis, regardless of anything, like he's not going to start, but like I just have a ton of him. So go him.
Yeah, I assume the starting 5 for Portland is going to be Lillard, Simons, Thybulle, Reddish, and Eubanks, but
same. Yep.
Subject to change for sure.
Yep.
Guys, thank you very much for watching and putting up with all of the nonsense that was this late. Happy Valentine's Day. Tip to tip. Tip to tip. Don't forget to text and call your loved ones today. Tell them Happy Valentine's Day. That's what Eric and I are going to be doing in Jordan. Little threesome action right after we get off the show. If you guys haven't done yet, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. Enjoy your night. We'll be back here tomorrow.